ESL Dota 2 channel before we send you guys up to the upper division channel, the main channel that is, for 2 more matches. And there's 2 good matches today as well, actually, Avo. We've got the 1, 2, and 3 respective teams placed in lower division last season all playing today. Of course, Hellraisers here now, and then PUCCHAMP and Winstrike are later on the docket.
Exciting to watch them. I think it's Winstrike versus Navi that's playing first.
That's correct, yes.
That's going to be a really good matchup. I mean, it's going to be a fun matchup because I think you get to watch some of the new blood, and I think that's the fun of the leagues, right? But when people talk about, oh, why is lower division Dota fun? It's honestly because you get to watch new storylines form, dude. You're literally making or watching Dota history in the making. If these guys eventually make it and they become really good, then you can go and brag about your friends. Like, I watched him when he was back in lower division, and then your friends will be like, I don't care.
Yep.
But you'll feel proud of yourself, and that's all that matters.
It is indeed all that matters. Very, very true, Alvaro.
I don't know. I don't feel like this game is going to be the best for Nemiga, though. I really want 3 games. I'm not going to lie. I feel like this series could be really exciting with 3 games. I am a big fan of Nemiga. They've played some awesome Dota. So with Hellraisers, of course, but everyone's a fan of Hellraisers and watching them. I just feel like this time they did get a bit outdrafted. The Void just has no answers. And I feel like you get to the mid-game and Kuma will Chrono and murder your whole team. Maybe the Snapfire could be an answer with the Mortimer's Kisses to kick out the Void before he gets BKB, maybe.
Yeah, that'll be pretty decent. Unfortunately, even like a press the attack onto, say, I don't know, like a Lifestealer inside of Chronosphere is not going to really do that much at the end of the day. It'll help you versus the magic damage, but the ET, of course, still has a percentage of harass that is going to pierce that rage, or I guess the effective BKB that a press the attack shard would give you.
And even then, right, all you need to do is not throw all your spells at once and throw them, because you have 4.5 seconds. He only has 1.5 seconds of magic immunity, right? So if Puck, for example, if he's in range for like Waning Rift, he'll throw one, throw the other. And then he has to take a choice, which one do I want to avoid, right? Oh, Resolution is struggling top though. Ooh, Kiritich playing super aggressive. Resolution could die, and Kiritich, just one more hit will do the trick. The Fairy Fire gave him a lot of HP, and the Tango did as well, but Kiritich, he cannot be stopped. He gets the first blood, beats the Necro right when he's weakest, which is honestly level 1.
Yeah, that's Rezo not really respecting the amount of, well, both slows and minus armor that we have, right? Of course, the Ghoul Friends at level 1, significant enough for it to make the difference there. And the Snapfire with the Blightstone and Little Shredder, yeah, they just pretty much instantly win on him as soon as they realized he wasn't going to be backing up and respecting the amount of minus armor that they had.
I feel like he wasn't expecting the Ghoul Friends level 1, because usually feast level 1 for Lifestealer to make the lane easier, right? And then you being this aggressive with a lane that shouldn't be in your favor. And also playing the Snapfire, like, I'm very surprised by this. They actually ran the Enchantress to the floor with the Legion Commander, and her enchant, her offensive dispel has so much use against the Necrophos and the ET, but 0 use against the Jakiro and the Void, so I was very surprised by this. However, it worked out because at least in the early game, the Little Shredder's offensive capabilities are better than whatever Enchantress can do in the lane.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true. They may decide to swap these lanes if top starts going badly all of a sudden. I mean, Zayak so far might get this kill into Lodin. He's thought about diving for it, but he's got the creep there to tank a couple of the auto attacks for him. Normally the way you can like super hard counter Jakiro in the lane, especially when he's super annoying, is just have a Dispel. But Ench has the wrong kind of Dispel. We need a defensive one.
Which Legion has.
Which Legion has, exactly. So already a Lil in this lane is not going to be able to be too impactful. And even if they switch the lanes for the supports, it's not going to be too relevant towards him. Of course, he wouldn't do much better top because Kiritich also has magic immunity, which gives you a Dispel, so it's not a very great early Jakiro game. But again, he's going to be super useful when the Chronos start coming out.
Exactly, and if you go for like a Liquid Fire build as opposed to Dual Breath build, which can happen, or even Ice Path build, it depends on your priority, you can still have impact even if it's not like lane stage. I feel like Dual Breath doesn't have too much use this game. As you said, Legion has a Dispel, Lifestealer has its own Dispel, Tiny is really tanky against magical damage. But the Liquid Fire attack speed debuff is actually kind of huge, especially if you get a couple levels in it. I mean, that could really crush the Tiny, for example, early.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And of course, it's a bit more annoying to have to use 110 mana to, part of me, dispel something that was free for Jakiro to cast, so that exactly. Feels a little bit bad as well.
Yeah, you're not going to dispel that with press the attack or range, honestly, unless you really need it. So it's a good utility if you want to. As Jakiro, the Ice Path is also an option, of course, if you want to go for like the traditional build Jakiro, just 1-3-1. And either or works here. Resolution on top lane will die. Jump to Kirtich. Oh my god, chunking him here. But Lodin in a similar position against Zaya gets the extra buff, and that buff will do the trick to finish off Lodin. Kirtich like, maybe I can't beat the Titan, but I'm under my tower. I have extra regen and extra armor. He's actually trying to bait him, but Zayats understands that he just needs to back away in time to not die here for free.
Yeah, Zayats is, I mean, really starting to pump up the damage. He's going for the very aggressive laning builds, so no points in the natural order yet. That has kind of been the favorite of himself and a couple of other laners and ETs that I've seen here in the Eastern European region, especially. Tiny versus Young G. It did force Young G to go for the infused raindrops. Something you don't always see on the puck. Of course, it makes a lot of sense this game because while you don't have all your mobility yet, we actually don't even have a point in the phase shift for Young G. It's definitely going to be the most wise decision to give yourself a little bit of durability here versus the Tiny's burst. I almost actually got the kill there with the moment of courage proc.
But Hellscream couldn't quite get the impetus in time, unfortunately, on level 1. Top Zayats, he went for the aggressive play, and now he's being aggressed on. There's the goal frenzy, but on level 1. He did go for the level 1 rage, though, Kirtich. Was it Kirtich that we saw play the Lifestealer who didn't go for a single-pointed rage until level 4, like against a really bad lane to do that against Phoenix?
Good question. Good question. I don't quite remember. I know exactly what game you're talking about, and I can tell you that it wasn't Fantastic 5 playing the Phoenix because he likes to do that supernova on the Phoenix. You know, we've had that quite a few times.
First attack in the bottom lane. Yeah, Chosen One gets it. Nice little moment of courage towards the end. But Chosen One, can he fight the void? He wants to get procs. The Centaur's chasing after Kuman. He does not want to let him take his offlaner away. In fact, Hellscream putting a fair amount of pressure here with the enchant. There's no time lock. He went for 2 points in time lock, which means Kuman will fall. Nemiga are doing such a good job in this early game.
Yeah, really nicely done as well. That rotation from the Tiny Anchorage just running up top lane, kind of throwing off the aggression that they have here. ET, you don't pick him for him to just stand behind you and heal. You pick him to kind of force enemies out of lane with his big old briefcase. So while he was busy doing that, Anchorage just gets a free rotation up top lane and finds him kind of out of position for that. Wasn't expecting the Tiny rotation, of course, but that's going to give Tiny now almost the full power treads already as he's starting to progress on his item build. But bottom as well, really, really good job. I do want to commend Kuman as well. He had a good idea there. He waited for the press the attack to come out before he applied the time dilation slow. I just think he overestimated his damage there, unfortunately.
Yeah, already overestimated how tanky he is, perhaps. He thought he could last the Enchantress, because the Enchantress just mashed him. Much like Lodin got mashed up top by Zayats. Kirtich fighting here, uses the Rage, and actually going for Rezo instead, but now he has the Ghost Shot. Here comes the Tiny Aincrad. Avatos, what's he looking for? Perhaps the support. Seems like an easier target. Kirtich suffering a fair amount of damage, healing back with the Infest there. And also, of course, with the Feast. Aincrad looking for the easiest kill. It's going to be the support. His Lifestealer coming out. Doesn't seem like he wants to. He will eventually have to. The tree actually kills the ET. Zayat is down for the count. And Aincrad, remember, he has the extra HP bonus. He actually has much more HP than it seems like, even though it seems like he's low. Lodin has the cookie. That's going to be the Lifestealer coming out. The Ghost Shard still available. Avalanche as well. That's going to stop Rezo from getting back home. With a little Shredder reducing his armor, that's going to kill him. Resolution falls yet again to a strong Nemiga and a great rotation once more by Aincrad.
Yeah, you could see the early rotation. Although Puck is a good rotator from the mid lane especially, she's not going to be as good as a Tiny because Puck just doesn't bring usually the kill potential that you really need. She's definitely a big enabler, but once the ET is gone, that is the bulk of the damage in that top lane, even at this 8 minute mark. Zayats may try from mid lane where Aincrad is completely out of mana, but he's a tanky boy. Now his strength treads 1600 HP without the infest bonus. Yeah, like you were saying, he was clocking in I think like 700, 800 HP despite being at quote-unquote half HP, right? So there was no interest there for Hellraisers to try and turn that. They knew for sure they couldn't have killed him. And that is kind of, in a bow, why Puck does kind of suffer in the matchup versus the Tiny. You know, that's a bit of an extreme example because usually you don't have a Lifestealer infested in you in the laning stage, yeah. But he does prove to be too tanky for you to kill.
It's very well done here by Nemiga, honestly. Take advantage of this Tiny matchup a bit more than Young G can, and he's doing his best. There's the cookie with the Rage to prevent the Dream Coil putt. Young G just made it out. Dream Coil is still available. Now where's your Rage, Lifestealer?
We got a
double
sight.
Damage on top of that. Reaper Sight. That's going to be a dead Kirtich. And a really good way for Hellraisers to slightly come back into this game.
Heinkred. Oh, he almost got at the stack. Yeah. He decided against it. He's like, actually, I don't want to get the bounty rune yet. And if only he was a little bit more greedy.
Now you're capable of. I mean, if you take a stack, if you see the stack, you take it much sooner than the puck. I would imagine with Avatos. Oh my God, he just killed Kuman like that.
I looked over, guys.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was watching the stack. No, I was watching the stack.
Oh my God. He literally just went and Avatos Kuman. Like Kuman wasn't even expecting to die from that. Threw the tree on him. He literally just murdered him. I didn't say anything because I thought, nah, he's not gonna die. He'll just time walk away.
Yeah, that's why I looked away as well, because Heinkred fortified the wave as well. Or maybe they fortified for top, which also helped the mid lane. But I was like, okay, if this is Void's gonna take it a little bit easy. He's only level 5, and yeah, just Tiny murdered him. Okay, Necro's coming. Yeah, can they kill him though? Zayats with some good damage. Yeah, nice job. Again, Zayats is doing all the damage at this stage of the game for his team for the most part. As it's going to be Nemiga looking bottom to be able to get the tower in return.
Yep, that tower will fall to Nemiga. Nice little boost of gold for them. With a 1k lead still, and a bit more map control on top of that. I mean, if you can take the mid tower, that's the real thing. That's what Rezo's now rotating mid. He's like, well, I won't die to the Tiny necessarily. But Rezo's going for an offensive build this time with a Witchblade. It has the cloak, but I don't see a Hood of Defiance finished on him or an intent to do so. Which I don't know if I love. Like, I think this game you need the Hood. You're up against Tiny and Snapfire, both of which have burst magical damage.
Yeah, I see that. I get that one. I don't know. I'm not too opposed to it yet. I'm not too opposed to it. The problem that I see is that it's really hard for you to change your builds after you go for the Witchblade, because it's a really nice first item, but if you don't end up playing this style of mid laner, like just walking up to the wave, right-clicking people, using Death Pulse whenever you have it, like it feels like a really weak item, and then obviously you'd rather have the Hood at that point. But I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a little bit hopeful given how this early game has gone, especially for your Faceless Void, but I think it can still work. The safer option for sure, as I think you're saying, is the Hooded Defiance.
I hope that's what he decides to go for as the game goes on, and I think he should.
Heinkred finds Zayats trying to D-ward. Good ice path there. Is going to allow him to maybe escape Cookie, though, as the Earth Splitter is coming. That is for Zayats, but they've also caught Hellscream with it as the Macropire is out. Now Heinkred on the run. There's a two-fronted fight as the Reaper Sight, not enough damage for the kill, but the follow-up is going to be there regardless. Kuman with the kill onto Lodin after Lil hits him with another stun, who has maxed, by the way, the Ice Path early on. That's going to be 2 kills for Hellraisers.
He did go for the traditional Jakiro build, like the most common, and I think this is also the most effective, by the way. If you don't try weird stuff if you don't have a weird plan in mind.
I feel like the Jakiro builds, they change so often because all of his abilities, like, you can make a strong case for depending on the game.
No, for the past 3 patches, the most common build has been 1-3-1 on the lane and max Ice Path first. Because just how valuable the ability is. Mind you, the hero doesn't have much pick rate, which is why, like, unless you're playing him core. In the case of core, yes, we have seen the Quickfire build maxed, or even Dual Breath maxed on core. But in the support position, it's almost always this, unless you can make a case for like winning the lane hard with Dual Breath. I was just suggesting it because I thought, you know, new patch, new strats.
Interesting. Yeah.
Nemiga, they struggled here, and this is something that Hellraisers has done, by the way, every single match in lower division, where even if they lose the early game because of either mistakes, overextensions, or whatever, they're really good at punishing the enemy team overextending themselves. And they usually, like, this loss doesn't last too long for them. Like, Rezo has died 3 times in lane, and he's still top net worth. It's pretty incredible. There's something that they do really well. It's like the EG back in TI5, you know, lose lane, win game. And Hellraisers just doesn't seem to care. They have such a solid understanding of team fights and 5-on-5 engagements that it's very difficult to completely nullify them as a team.
Yeah, man. Now we've even got the king back to mid, don't we? So it's all coming back together again.
You mean because Rezo's farming mid? Rezo never quite left the mid lane. In his heart, he was always there.
Smoke into the jungle to try and get the chosen one here. He's in the Macropire, now stuck on the Ice Path. Quite a tanky last. Do they have the damage? Press the attack heal. Means that they still have to go for a bit more, but here's Lodin. Make that Kuman with the Chronosphere. Kisses raining down to try and prevent him from getting the kill. They're going to try for Young G instead. Rezo as well getting chunked by the Kisses, as hopping inside the Mud Golem is going to be Kuman. Might try and catch up to Young G, who's bottled up basically to full HP. A great silence out from Young G, but into the Avalanche he will go off the phase shift. Echo Stomp connects onto 2, but the Cookie still allows him to stun Young G, and it's going to be Lodin with the kill. Ice Path though onto Heinkred, and another Reaper Scythe here. It's going to allow Rezo to at least get the kill in return, and it's a pretty good trade for Hellraisers, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Nemiga managed to get the puck out of it, which is honestly not that bad. But then with Einkrad going a bit too aggressively towards the end, he was a bit overzealous because Kirtic, he just lost a bunch of HP the moment he just deactivated Armlet. It's like, I don't know if I really want to go in, just relying on Armlet HP pretty much. Not ideal. I mean, the item got buffed. It does actually deal much less damage to you, but Kirtic still wanted to play this safe. I don't know if we can call that miscommunication or whatever, but it shouldn't be Tiny going in alone if Lifestealer's not willing to fight, right? Lodin already uses ultimate. Hellscream is an enchantress, so what are you gonna do there? And LC wasn't even nearby, so I would say that Hellraisers once again just taking advantage of these small missteps that Nemiga's making.
Yeah, Lodin kind of just throwing the Tiny there into the Reaper Scythe with the cookie. Einkrad didn't really have a choice on that one as he was asleep anyway, but it did allow Lodin to get the kill at the end of the day. So Lodin was maybe happy with that one. Einkrad perhaps not, as if he lives there, he probably already has Blink Dagger. It's on the way now, so it's not too big of a delay. 15-minute blink for Einkrad. Should be looking to smoke with the boys, and perhaps looking for a quick kill onto the Tiny or Rezo or the ET, I would say, are pretty easy kills. I think trying to kill the Jakiro may prove to be slightly difficult, although he's not as tanky. All right, the Blink duel. Kisses. Okay. I think this is a victory.
Kill him, yeah. With the kisses, I mean, even if he had Hood, I think he would have died there. With the Tiny, not even needing to use most of his spell, or the combo there entirely.
Hellraisers want to try and defend.
Young G's nearby, Dream Coil's available. Again, the Avatos combo this time. Young G can't get away, just barely. With Ear Splitter, the Dream Coil, they've actually caught Einkrad and the Chosen One. Both will fall. They cannot withstand this two support combo. Zayat's in the wrong position though. He might be punished. Kuman has no chrono. He just time blocked really aggressively. Kuman might just like to Kirtic. He was a freebie. He was unexpecting the damage from Kirtic to just chunk him like that. And what could have been a really good fight for Hellraisers ends up being just okay. I think Nemiga takes the advantage there. If you can consider, I would say Necrophos is probably as valuable as the Tiny, and definitely Void is more valuable in Legion.
Yeah, it was a bit surprising, I think, for... Pardon me. That was a bit surprising for Kuman. I think he wasn't really expecting the enemy carry to be willing to engage us early on in these fights, but he kind of saw him. I mean, they did at least get the kill onto the puck, but at that same time, Kirtic was just there to really hit the tower, and, well, he did accomplish his task at the end of the day. Take another look at that. As it looks like Hellraisers are grouping up to try and make a push towards the Tier 1 tower. They don't have a smoke ready, though, so it's going to be a bit difficult for them. To really find the opening, but they've got chrono. But yeah, just a really, really nice fight. Great Earth Splitter actually finding two, as they did get Einkrad in exchange for Rezo. Again, it's a good trade for the Hellraisers up until Kuman shows up and unfortunately just loses his life.
Like, the first part of the team fight is totally a great trade for Hellraisers, and then Kuman doing that was just unnecessary, really. He had no chrono, right? That's why I was very surprised by him going in. He has a Midas, so at least he has a good chance of recovering, and mind you, I still think the mid game is in their hands, because their 5-on-5 team fight is much better, but in the early game, especially when Tiny's kind of strong like this, just don't play this way. Yeah. I'm hoping that... Okay, Rezo does have a Code of Defiance now. I'm hoping he actually just completes the pipe straight up, because that would... The pipe against these single target initiations that are, of course, magical damage is fantastic to nullify it. You go Avatos on someone that's only, like, honestly, double the damage of pipe, it heals. So you essentially have the damage on anyone with just the pipe, and you still have the rest of the heroes still covered by the pipe, so that Snapfire or Legion's overwhelming odds or whatever doesn't do much. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of people, of course, the popular thing is to hate on pipe. Oh, it's so expensive. But I mean, and it is.
I mean, I hate on it all the time.
But you're right. It's the right item in this game because it gives you a huge buff, effectively 400 HP, especially against a draft like this for your entire team. Which for the about 5 minutes after you complete it, it feels like the best item ever, and then after that, it feels like it's just all right. But that's all you really need this game because, like you're saying, you have the mid game to late game team fight pretty easily. You just need to make sure that you don't die too many times to the Einkrad Blink Dagger, soon to be Echo Saber combo, to Lodin with level 2 kisses especially. Like, you just need to buy yourself a couple of minutes, and pipe is the perfect item to do that for you this game.
Another option we're seeing Zayat's going for, and maybe Lil will decide to go for this afterwards, is the Glimmer Game. Also a good way to mitigate that magical damage. Because it's just like you said, stop that combo. It's also because Necrophos can't quite build Crimson Guard. It's not a very common item on him, which would be kind of good at stopping the Lifestealer, but you don't really have someone that can really build it this game, unless you see ET May going for it because he's a 4, but I wouldn't like that too much.
Yeah, they're trying to bait Kuman to farm one more wave. We'll see. His carry impulses are wanted. He's looking at the wave. He wants it, but He knows with enemies missing off the map, they're not going to go for the Chosen One. He smoke breaks, though, so they know that he's somewhere nearby. Kuman just chilling in the trees. Again, without any vision here.
I don't know if he saw him because it's nighttime.
I don't think he did. They were smoked. Yeah, the smoke broke like all the way over here.
Right. It's smoke breaks before, before the vision. I think you didn't see him.
No, he didn't see him. That's why he's just...
Kuman's patient, though. He knows.
He knows.
So
I mean,
Chosen One,
look at his map. His map is super dark right now. Now they've scouted at least one with the Astral Spirit.
Chosen One. Oh, he just went in. Oh no, Kuman, he got caught. Mortimer's Kiss even committed to this. That's going to be enough to kill the carry. Lil will try to get away, and the TP will be successful.
Yeah, so I was toggling over the vision to see what he could see on the map, and I'm pretty sure he got a false sense of security because it was a good play actually by Zayats, who sent the Astral Spirit into the enemy jungle. They scouted the Snapfire like kind of over by the outpost over here, and then he's like, oh, I can farm the wave, I'm pretty sure. I've got at least some vision. Lodine's probably standing there to break smokes in case we go into their jungle. That was not the case, as Young G makes the jump in. I think Earthsplitter's on the way. Yeah, it was looked a little bit invis there. Coil's going to snap, but at least Lodine does get the 3-man cookie stun, allowing Karateach to pump in the damage. They've got detection here, so Zayats is going to still die. Rezo might be next, just about full heals, even tanking through the tiny combo, but when he comes back down, Karateach takes about 3 swipes rather to pick up the kill. They're still continuing to chase. We do have Faceless Void respawning here. TP to the tier 1 tower. He's got Chronosphere at the ready, but everyone on Nemiga is just too darn tanky right now, Avo.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Hellraisers has anything to deal with the Lifestealer right now, which I was concerned about the Void this whole time, and since Kuman is being honestly easy pickings for Nemiga, the concern right now swaps to the Lifestealer, who can build armor this game, like ACs or a Crimson Guard or any sort of physical damage mitigation. You have seen the Lifestealer quite literally chunking the Necrophone.
They're
and
going
go for another kill. Yeah. Can they do it? The Chosen One?
Invisor,
okay,
it should be easy.
Yeah, it should be. And they go with a duel, Avatar as well to catch the Kiro for free, and they murder both in quick succession. Aincrad getting a double kill there. Really impactful game by Aincrad, though. Impressive performance on this play. Yeah,
and this is exactly what you don't want as the Hellraisers here. Of course, you're down 5k, but being down 5k at this stage is even a little bit scary. If Karateach can get an item ahead of your Faceless Void, especially because Faceless Void, of course, may I remind you, went for the Midas, so he's a little bit further behind, right? That Midas hasn't yet paid for itself. You're going to find yourself in a bit of a tough spot, which is not really what you drafted for in this mid-game.
I don't know. I feel like the Lifestealer, especially as you said, the extra item, if you get something like a Heaven's Howard potentially, or even SNY, any sort of tank ability, like Lifestealer likes to go for 2 big damage items. I guess Armlet is kind of hybrid, but Desolator definitely just damage. And then he actually starts to tank out a fair amount with things like AC, with things like Heaven's Halberd, or potentially a Sunset with Yasha. And these items make it much more difficult for him to die on the Chrono, not just because of the Void's difference, but just with the rest of the heroes, right? They just don't have enough damage to bring him down. And that consistent lineup that I was seeing by Hellraisers is faltering because of a 2-farmed Lifestealer. Lodine is the target. The Spirit will catch him. Trinkle as well. Okay, Ice Path on top of that, and Lodine will fall, I believe. Not much to save him. Not much intention to save him either. As Hellscream, doing a little baton dance here, realizes that she can... Yeah, she's not going to survive this. I don't think Hellscream, even with the Untouchable, will be able to survive this onslaught.
Yep, the nice thing about playing a hero like the Faceless Void, or perhaps even like a Weaver, is although it takes you forever to get that auto attack onto the Untouchable, Enchantress, occasionally you do have a second attack coming through, which is for free. And that bonus damage, that second bash was actually the one that got the kill. Nicely done, 2 supports. I was very impressed by that smoke play, to be honest, out from Hellraisers. I think they knew there was no dual infest ready to be used, and they decided, hey, we need to delay this Aegis a little bit more, make them a little bit weaker. That's not going to do much for now. It's Chosen One jumping in at the Young G, who does get off the phase shift, has the blink, does get the blink off into the Illusory Orb. Might be able to outrun these two, but I don't know if you can outrun Aincrad with the Haste Rune. We'll see if the puck is capable. Kiss is raining down to keep the blink dagger on the cooldown. Another phase shift into the Illusory Orb, ready to go. Aincrad has a blink in a second. They're both going to jump him and immediately kill him. Didn't give him the duel. 3 heroes on top of the puck, and they're all going to have to TP out.
They all TP out. I guess now they have the duel. Aincrad's laughing to himself because they get a duel. Chosen One's like, I'm gonna get it now! And just walks into the Ice Path. Still has the Blink Dagger though. He's committing for this. There's the duel. He wants the damage. A little to target. Can they kill him in time? Aincrad, you owe this to him. There you go. Chosen One gets the dual damage in the end. Ended up being the better play. Now
there he is. There he is. Don't worry. I got you. I got you. Chosen One was like, excuse me?
Bottom tower is under attack.
He's been Denied the duel down bottom, but Ingrid making it up for him here in the mid lane. Definitely. I mean, it was a bit rough. It was a bit challenging. Ingrid, the Chosen One didn't make it easy for him because he did walk into that ice path. It was a longer TP for the Tiny as well, so he really had to get in there and use all the spells at once, basically. But he got the job done. He knew he had to pay the price. But still, we maintain this five kill lead over in favor of Nemiga. Tiny actually going for the 4-staff next. May we group up for a smoke here? Yeah, it looks like it. No kisses for 30. Infest up in 7, and duels are ready to go yet again. It's going to be S and Y, like you said, for this Lifestealer as they're going to try and hook around here, perhaps into the enemy triangle. Good scan here is going to let them know that there are enemies here, so up they go. Observer Ward scouts at least Zayet as they send forward the Kobold Foreman, which is going to see a little bit more, giving them a bit more confidence here to Nemiga, but they hesitate to dive even further. With the tier 1 still standing, you don't really want to overexpose your rear like this, because they can always kind of just sneak the Faceless Void around from the side, get off a good chrono, and potentially turn into a good fight.
The Chosen One, this TP to the Shrine, but he's alone. I don't know. Well, I'm not really alone, actually. There's a Lifestealer with him, so at least he'll carry him to this death. Oh, what is happening? That Lifestealer comes out, it's like, oh, surprise! It was like a Kinder Egg of dying. A suicidal Kinder Egg here for Kiritich. What actually works out for them, because Rezo's now in trouble. They have an enchant to dispel his Ghost Shard. They do not. Kiritich looking for Kuman instead. And in the end, they're going to force Hellraisers to retreat, but why do that?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Like, that was not really, I mean, I guess you wasted Chrono, and you still got a kill out of that. Not wasted, really, because you got the kill on the Chosen One.
Yeah, I thought they might have been able to actually just chain Sun Lifestealer on his second, or not on his second life, because he does have Chrono, but when he popped out, because he actually, when you come back out, you do get affected by the Ice Path, but the Ice Path didn't have that much of a duration left to it, so didn't actually stun him for that long. Rezo got a little bit too aggressive, but they quickly realized that fight wasn't going anywhere as soon as Ingrid bursted a little, so nice moves from Nemiga. They're going to go for the mid-tier 2 tower now, or a splitter incoming. Is the air splitter invisible for you too? Oh, no, it's not invisible. It was just for Lodine. That's why. I thought he threw it in the mid lane.
No, he did use it just for Lodine. Zayat could be in trouble as Kiritich joins in. We have an Age on Kiritich, so he's not too afraid of dying here. He's going to expire anyway, so he's going to get the regen. And he did finish his S and Y now, so a good amount of extra tankability for him, with both a bit of agility, so a bit of armor, and a bit of HP, being able to tank both things that they get sent in the chrono. The only problem, of course, that since this is stats, ET, at least for the armor, doesn't... If the Spirit is nearby, he doesn't really care. He's just going to take the armor away from you.
And now,
that's why he sees a necessity this game at some point.
And we might even have some problems. It's a position 5 Snapfire who's very, very behind Hellscream, who farms like a madman on the Enchantress, by the way. The Sench has a full plate mail, has the pipe, nearly as much farm as the Chosen One on the position 4 Ench. But what I was going to say is that this leaves Lodine without a lot of farm, but he is going for the Aghanim Scepter on the Snapfire. That Gobble Up does provide you a potential save inside of Chrono.
I really like that she got the pipe before Resolution got his. I think that's quite funny in its own way.
Well, you know, Rezo going for the Witchblade first, right? He decided to go for it. I mean, he's still not actually going back, mind you, for that pipe. Instead of going forward into the E-Blade.
I haven't seen much of the impact of the Witchblade, if I'm honest with you, this game. I feel like pipe and E-Blade would have been much better options. But, you know, it is Rezo's favorite build. I like the 4-staff, though. The 4-staff is really nice.
So Aegis is expired, of course.
Oh my god, Lil just... Oh, he missed the Ice Path. Wow. I even thought the Ice Path hit. Interesting. Lifestealer is just a bit of freezing immunity there. Gonna go for the Basher next for the LS, as opposed to the ESL Caress. I like the Basher as well. He feels like he can play more offensively, and the Basher will allow him to kind of man-fight the Void more reliably.
Speaking of man-fighting, the Void actually has the Aghanim's Shard now. He had a Butterfly queued up, but instead he put the money he was going to put into the Eagle Song into the Shard, and now he's going to go for a Mjolnir instead.
Okay, are they gonna push high ground? They just lost the Aegis, so this is the most Eastern European thing I've seen. We just lost the Aegis. Go high ground, go high ground. It's the moment now. They will never expect this.
Well, there's Kuman. I mean, if you can reveal this Aghanim Shard, I mean, he's just done it here.
Who cares? I mean, it's not that impactful of a shard. Like, it's good. It's a good buff because of especially the time walk cast range, and it's kind of annoying that you can go back in, but I mean, it's 1.5 seconds. If they haven't caught you in those 1.5 seconds, they won't. Right? They're not really gonna take it easy with the Void, especially with a duel in hand. Oh, talking about the duel. We're setting up for a duel here. It seems like they just walked the other direction. Now, baiting out Aincrad, who's a duel target. Press the attack to help Aincrad. In fact, they don't need a duel. Rezo's just gonna fall. Now the duel is on Kuman. Perfect target. Chosen one, patient and effective. That's 3 dead in favor of Nemiga. And with a toss, it might be a 4th one as they jump to Zayat and proceed to annihilate him.
Yeah, it was really, really aggressive out from Hellraisers. I'm surprised that Young G made the call, apparently, to fight there, because he went in with the Dream Coil onto the Tiny without any vision of really anyone else, and immediately... Whoa, Anchor found him! Anchor find him!
Wow. Wow, just wow. Honestly, that's the second time that Aincrad gets a solo kill like that. Earlier on the Void, it was the same idea, and this allows you to pretty much take 2 lanes of racks easy. You might even be able to push a tier 2 in time up top and then go for Roshan if you're going for efficiency. Actually, no, you got the longest Roshan, unfortunately, so that's gonna be a bit more difficult.
We've got some of the ultis to play with here at the very least, on the side of Hellraisers, but I don't think they're gonna be able to catch anyone on the way out, except for maybe Hellscream, which is just meh.
We haven't seen a single chrono combo this game, like a single one. We've seen the chronos, mind you, but not with the Macropire. It's actually been the Dream Coil more.
We've seen one, but I get what you're saying.
With the Legion,
it's not being, yeah. And there's
that doesn't count. And that's not a combo. That's a single target ability.
Well, he Macropired for it though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you want to, like, any single target stun that's 4 seconds would be equal. Like, when I mean a chrono combo, I'm talking like 2-3 heroes caught in the Macropire. That's the advantage of chrono over, I don't know, picking PRO RUHUB, right? Why not pick PRO RUHUB if they're going to use it that way, is my point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but I guess what you're really saying is that Nemiga have been having some really good positioning here in these teamfights because they haven't really been giving Hellraisers the chance.
I mean, yeah, Nemiga's been playing these teamfights incredibly well, but also Kuman's positioning has been always caught out, so instead of him being able to fight 5-on-5, he can only be able to get pickoffs this game. Because they keep dueling him first.
Oh, they thought they caught Ludine. They're going to take this kill, but they can TP to this tier 1 tower. Chosen One is incoming. Andis is going to proc. Chosen One will actually blink back defensively. So Snapfire going for the Andisk instead of the Aghanim Scepter. Felt like she didn't really need to have the save anyway.
Yeah. I think the Andisk seems fine, right? Because you're the only target that can realistically kill him.
Rezo's dead. Maybe not, actually. I got to force that away. Last time, that's all they needed to kill him, so I could see why they thought this was going to do the job this time around, as Hellscream is just laying into the damage. Okay, got the chrono off this time, but he traps 3 of his teammates along with him. Macropire as well on top as Aincrad blinks into the Ice Path stun. Even with the ulti out from Rezo, it's still not enough damage. Chosen One eventually is going to die to Zayat. Gonna buy back instantly, though. Young G already dead. As the rest of the team finished off 1 by 1. The disconnects come through, and it's Hellraisers with their first loss here in the lower division.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wow, just impressive, honestly. Just impressive by Nemiga. What a great game. Towards the end, I don't know if you saw that play, but Leicester actually really clever to prevent some of the Reaper Scythe damage there. He decided to leave the Legion before the Reaper.
हाय गाइज वेलकम बैक विथ अनदर वीडियो। तो गाइज इस वीडियो में आप लोगों को बताऊंगा कि कैसे आप लोग भी फ्री फायर के हाय गाइज वेलकम बैक विथ अनदर वीडियो। तो गाइज इस वीडियो में आप लोगों को बताऊंगा कि कैसे आप लोग भी फ्री फायर के बड़े यूट्यूबर और पबजी के बड़े यूट्यूबर जैसे अपने वीडियो में भी सॉन्ग ऐड कर सकते हो विदाउट नो कॉपीराइट, यानी कि आपको कोई भी कॉपीराइट उसमें नहीं मिलेगा। तो गाइज उन सॉन्ग्स का लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दिया है और चाहो तो आप लोग कहीं और से भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। तो बारी बारी से मैं सभी सॉन्ग्स को आपको सुना देता हूँ। तो सॉन्ग्स अच्छे लगे तो वीडियो को लाइक कर देना और चैनल पे नहीं हो और आज तक हमारे चैनल पे नहीं आए हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना। तो वीडियो का शुभारंभ करते हैं।
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted. want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all. Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. To change up.
He tends to win, like, I want to say Tiny does kind of win at like level 3-4 when your attack damage plus your lane control is better than Ember's, and then you just start to dominate the lane or win the lane over him. I would say it's mostly a 50-50 matchup. Ember has a good attack animation, he has decent attack damage as well, shouldn't be too phased by Tiny, good attack speed as well, sleight of fist in case you need the extra bit of damage. I would say it's like 50-50, slightly Tiny favored at some point, slightly Ember favored at the beginning. Not too big a deal though.
Yeah, it's funny, you brought up the Avo Toss, which is actually our cosplay correspondent, who we might see eventually in those.
I'm hoping we never get to see it. The Lion is the answer to the Ember, though. We've seen the power of the Hex's last patch against the Puck. I think it's the same idea against an Ember. Pretty solid. I mean, Ember has options to like always remain invulnerable. You know, like if you're searing chains in the middle of Sight of Fist, or you use the Remnants to like go in and out. We have seen Young G make these kind of plays. He's really good at using Remnants offensively and defensively at the same time. But obviously, Lion's still annoying to him.
Yeah, he is, and I like this kind of this style of drafting out from Nemiga, right? Because you go with Ench Tiny, who are not going to be ever enough catch for an Ember Spirit, right? You need more catch than this in your draft, and the Lion is the perfect perfect proposition here, the perfect fix for this, as it looks like. Well, we'll see, actually. Do you reckon this is going to be another Enchantress 4 for Hellscream? Because I
kind of like it.
I feel like having the Ench 5 with your Juggernaut does give you that kill potential with the spin combo if you want in the lane, and allows your your Lion to play a position 4, ideally get a faster blink, and then maybe play a little bit more aggressive versus the Ember.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I can see that. I like the Lion in the 5 lane, even if he plays 4. That's what I mean. Like, I find the Lion Juggernaut is the better combo here for sure. And Ench, I see a lot of utility against Scrimstroke because of the fact that you can dispel Ghost relatively easily, or not dispel, get rid of Ghost, right? Because you have the extra creepers yourself. Nice attack damage on the Enchanters, or nice attack speed. And then, of course, you also have the combo of the Enchant to dispel the Inkswell. Yes, it does explode, now even more so, because now you can dispel Overpower from the Ursa. So, because the Inkswell does explode, of course, when you dispel it, but at least you can choose to explode it earlier than it should. So it's a really good tool. And I think the Ursa against the Enchanters is a matchup that, like, if the Enchantress gets a bit of farm, can be quite Enchantress favored, because as I always mention, Enchant dispels Overpower, and that's your main source of damage early. Ursa's really good against Juggernaut, but if you can dispel that Overpower, that damage is going to be really reduced when he's in Blade Fury, and Juggernaut can just run away.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think now you definitely want to run this Ench versus the Ursa. Have we been seeing a ton of Fuzzy Wuzzy, though? I know every hero has been picked that you can pick in Captain's Mode, so it's not like, oh my god, first X of the... No, it's nothing like that. And I'm sure with Ursa, especially I feel like a lot of teams maybe went back to him earlier on in the first couple of weeks of the DPC. But I'd be curious, because I have not personally seen a lot of Ursa, especially in the Eastern European region. It's not really been something we've been seeing here a lot.
It's a hero that has very, very low win rate in general in all regions. I remember checking it yesterday with like 30-35% perhaps. So not great. I think the hero struggles because of the awkward timing you have. Like if you go for Battle Fury, you're not as good as other more traditional Battle Fury carriers, right? Or just farmers, like say the Sven, for example. If you go for the fast Ursa, that hasn't been really theorized or tried out yet, but it's just it kind of died a while ago. Nobody really ever goes for a faster Ursa, where you go for like the, I don't know, maybe straight up Bash or Blink Dagger build, which could be an option here. The matchup though of Ursa versus Juggernaut is really good. And the matchup against Lion Enchanter is really good as well, because they're two supports that don't really like building up Yule Scepter, which is of course the biggest counter to Ursa.
Okay, I've just looked up a quick stat here, courtesy of Dat Dota. We have 6 total games on Fuzzy Wuzzy here in the lower division of Eastern European. 0% win rates, 3 on Radiant, 3 on Dire. So it's not really been doing too well this patch here for the lower division teams. We'll see if perhaps this is going to be Hellraisers. I mean, and it's scary, right? Because Hellraisers, you've never lost, even let alone one game, and now you're going to go to the hero who, on paper, has a 0% win rate.
10 seconds remaining.
It's a bit scary.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we'll see. Hellraiser's last pick, Centaur. Okay. This is also top hero, by the way. If you can't get the Snapfire, get the Centaur. The 2 heroes are dominating the DPC right now. I love it with the Ursa. I think it's a solid pickup, but against the Juggernaut, it's just okay. I mean, there's not very many laners that can deal with the Jugger, though.
Yeah. Now it kind of throws it. It makes it a bit more difficult for you to decide. I like the points you were making, by the way, about the Ursa. I think maybe now we do perhaps want to run the Ench as the 4 instead. Even though I did, kind of fight for the Lion to be the 4 earlier on, just because the Lion is not really a great Yules builder. I mean, he doesn't really do anything. He just sets himself up for death by the time he comes back down.
Yep,
but we want to have a Yule Scepter versus the Ursa, versus the Centaur, versus the Willow even when she's got the Bedlam out. There's a lot of really great uses for it this game, and it just doesn't really make sense for Lion to purchase it. So throw him on the 5 role. You get to lane him with the Juggernaut. He can still be impactful there versus the Centaur. And now we need what do we need? We need an offlaner. Yeah, thank you.
I like Underlord here a lot, to be honest with you.
You always like Underlord. You always say that.
I do like Underlord often, but I just think that Underlord against the Ursa, he's a good Yule Scepter purchaser, very good at just denying his area, very good against the Stampede on top of that. Actually kind of solid. I mean, the only issue is, of course, Underlord does lose the lane against the Ursa, but honestly, any melee offlaner does. Like, Mars will lose this lane as well. Mars banned, actually. If you wanted to beat the Ursa, the traditional counter actually to the Ursa as the offlaner was Venge, but we've seen that like 3 times as DPC in all the regions. So
yeah, I've seen a carry Venge in some different tournaments that was very fun to watch, but I've not seen it so much in an offline role now. It's been quite a few years.
Yeah, it used to be the counter when Ursa was like super dominant. People were like, oh, I guess I'll pick Venge because actually a decent hero against him. Necrophos is not that great against him because you slow him down. The NP is also an option, but NP is not that awesome either in the mid game because you don't really big team fight.
Yeah, we can hunt him pretty decently with Stampede and Ember Spirit. I feel it's a bit spooky for him. Offlaners for Rezo. The Viper would have been really nice to have, wouldn't it? Do you consider going to a Venomancer here?
Yeah, actually, Veno's not bad. I don't mind. I mean, if you really want to hardcore kill the Ursa, just completely deny him, yeah, Veno's actually pretty solid here.
No, the Slardar. Alright.
Okay. That would not be a hero I was expecting at all.
Me neither. And it is going to be Hellscream, so we do have the Enchantress to help out the Slaughter, so the overpower shouldn't be much of an issue here for the Slardar. So ideally, maybe they're thinking, okay, now we've got a little bit of an advantage here, especially if the Chosen One can go into this engagement with the Bash primed and ready to go. But it seems very spicy to me. It seems like trying to pick a Slark into... Well, a Slark and a Slardar is a lot better than this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can see the Slardar might not lose the lane necessarily, right? I don't think that the lane is going to be that bad, especially as you mentioned with the Enchantress being here, right? That should be enough to deal with the Grimstroke Ursa combo. You might still die if you overextend, but I feel like you can tank it somewhat. The weird thing is that you picked up your whole point of Cross of Haze is just not that great against Ursa, right? It's okay. I guess it's good against Centaur. And against Ember, it doesn't really matter because you're supposed to catch him. You don't really care if you bursting him is not the hard part per se.
Yeah.
But I'm just very surprised because usually Curse of Haze is to make your carry just destroy him. But with Enrage and the new Shard, of course, you have so many dispels in the air, so he's never gonna get Curse of Haze on.
Even Satanic.
I guess if you get to level 25, I mean, you get the talent that makes it undispellable, maybe then, right? I don't know.
I think it's more about the Aghanim Shard for the Slardar. I think maybe that is something that is kind of what really makes this hero a little bit bonkers. I think we even saw it yesterday come into play, so I'm looking forward to it.
Right, because then you get more versions of the Cross of Haze, right? More easier ways to use Cross of Haze. I mean, I can see a combination here of Shard plus Juggernaut Omni or Swift Slash, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this pick is, to me, I mean, I wouldn't say questionable necessarily, but I think there might have been better options. But I think it's dependent on the lane. If the lane goes really well for the Slardar, if he doesn't overextend and plays it really cleanly, as Chosen One tends to do, to be honest, then I think that you can see an advantage here by just crushing the Ursa.
We're gearing up for a head-on collision here, a 5-on-5 head-on collision. Hellscream out in front, planting the ward is going to give really good information to Nemiga, as they're going to try and sneak up to the high ground. In they go. Kuman's dropping all of his items. Good thing he's picked them back up in time because the spin and the Slytherin Crush are both here. Lil's to drop first, but Kuman eating the entire spin here, trying to run now. Does at least get that Urshock slow onto the Juggernaut as Rezo and Young G now looking to turn on to Kiritich, who does not have the spin for another 30 seconds. Another
nice
2-man Earthspike out from Lodine is going to allow Kiritich to live a while longer. Eventually will fall nonetheless to the level 1 Searing Chains of Young G, and Ursa is going to be able to back up away safely. actually. A 2-for-2 trade. Very, very fun level 1 fights. Of course, in favor... Oh no, hold on. I cast his cursor. We're not done.
Yeah, LD took the wrong path home. Oh no, he's a 3-man Earth Spike. He's setting up. He's at the choke point. He gets a 2-man Earth Spike on 2-pad. They can still from the tree. Will they? They will. But Kuman, unfortunately, has too much HP for the Tiny here. So Einkat can't get that kill, and you lose 3. Now advantage to Hellraisers, even if only slight. Because I was going to say that earlier, the Juggernaut got more experience on these kills and more gold because he remained alive longer. So that was kind of a win for Nemiga at first. But with that 3rd kill, I think it evens it out and makes it that Hellraisers can be favored slightly.
Yeah.
Ursa, though, needs to go back home. Kuman will have to TP back into the lane.
Yeah, so that was the one caveat I had here. Oh, come on. Where are you going? Oh, there he goes. He's going back to the fountain now. That was the one caveat I was going to say, is that if they can potentially get a kill on him in this top lane, which wouldn't be the most wild thing in the world with the Slardar and an Enchantress at level 1, it would be pretty major here.
Huge punish.
Yeah. So we'll
he
see.
did go for Slithering Crush level 1 as well, so has much more offensive capability. And Ursa level, like before level 3, Ursa's so weak.
Exactly.
And honestly, against the Slardar, you're going to be weak until you have like your Shard. That's really when you're going to come online. So maybe Ursa's kind of slow this game, surprisingly.
Well, we'll see. Going for those phase boots to try and speed himself up a little bit. But of course, the tempo is going to be a little bit slow out from the gates. We've got Lil here, who's going to do well to protect him, especially with a level 1 Inkswell. It's going to keep the Chosen One a little bit at bay. But I think for the most part, it is a bit dangerous. But now that TP is going to be ready again soon for Kuman, so I believe the threat has passed. He's going to be totally fine.
Yep, exactly. Now as well that the Enchanters can't really do much, you know, you lost your first power spike, you finally get the creep, but if the creep is only 12 seconds, you need the level 3 in the Enchanters as well, so more or less the power spikes in this lane should be more kind of even, especially since Kuman got the extra experience bonus here. No bash to deal with in the early levels is a godsend for him, really. Now you finally get the bash and the Chosen One, and we'll see if they want to play this aggressively.
Yeah, maybe he thought about it. Chosen One eager to use his first bash onto the Ursa. Kuman not really going to give him the chance to, as Lil's sniping away the range creep CS. Nicely done with the Stroke of Fate without pushing the wave. It's a big plus, of course, as Uwal played with a couple of Grimstrokes that will just push the entire wave to secure CS. It's not really...
the classic, I'm playing Coddle in Grimstroke form.
Yep.
I absolutely hate those people. Yeah, I mean, the lane top, I think, is still going really well for the Ursa, though. The Sard can't really match him completely. You need to go for burst of damage. Bottom, at least, is going a bit. Very Heritage could consider spinning, but decides not to. It's only level 1 Blade Fury. And unfortunately, this ability did get nerfed over the past, like, I don't know, years. So level 1 is just not that useful anymore. It's you're really looking for the level 2 Blade Fury to really engage. Lodi now in the wrong position. Might get punished for this, but in comes Heritage. And Zayak surprised him with a magic stick. So Zayak manages to get away with his life, as Lion does not. He dies to a neutral creep there, but I think that was a suicide. Yeah.
I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so.
It was. He did it on purpose.
Yeah. So he's going to have a longer death timer, of course, but he'll be back eventually. I was surprised, to be honest. I started looking top lane. Where part of me, I thought they were going to be a little bit aggressive. I wasn't really expecting Lodin to be out of position like that, especially because Rezo, he like pump faked the hoof stomp, so he definitely still had that for Lodin. Bit surprising, but you know, Rezo, as always, being the aggressive offlaner here on the Centaur. Going for the first item, I'm not sure actually, might consider the Hood of Defiance. Ring of Health, of course, building into both Hood and Vanguard.
Nah, it's Vanguard, I think, for this lane. You Van Hood on this game almost certainly. I mean, you might even not need to. Like I said, in this game, Crimson Guard's so useful against Juggernaut, and you have someone that can actually build it. I feel like that's a bit better. Also, Crimson Guard does not get affected too much by the Curse of Haze, right? Because the block comes at the beginning. So that's really important. So be able to block a bunch of damage, even if you have no armor, Crimson Guard still mitigates that. It's a good tool against his Louder.
Yeah. Order of operations, very important in Dota too, folks.
No, Einkrat could be in trouble. Actually, he tosses. Young G wants to go for the kill. Young G might just die under the tower. Einkrat did have a Fairy Fire just in case, but that was just a bit of harassment there. Not enough to actually kill Young G. He did go for the 2 points in Flame Guard. That will save him from the Amatos combo. In fact, maxing Flame Guard completely.
I feel like I've seen this a lot out from Einkrat in the mid lane, where he goes, "Oh no, I'm dying. Oh, just kidding. Call an ambulance, but not for me." You know, this is it's kind of his move because this is the guy that loves to play the mid lane Pangolier, who is a lot similar in some regards to the Tiny in terms of being able to just all of a sudden do some mass repositioning.
Yeah, I really like. I think Einkrat in general is a very unique player as well in his playstyle. Both the Lustruck we've seen, to some degree the Tiny with his rotations, a bit more aggressive than most Tinies as well.
True.
Like I feel like these are the kind of heroes that suit him. I mean, I don't know if you give him DK, I feel like Einkrat would just be like, "What do I do this year? I can't kill things."
What do you mean? I can't burst someone right at level 6? What is this
That's
hero?
trash. He also likes the Queen of Pain. That's another hero he likes to play a lot, actually.
Lil top gets bashed into no crush up from the Chosen One, but the enchant is here from Hellscream. They'll go a little bit off the beaten trail to get this kill onto Lil. Of course, the creep just running by. You know, they've got other business to attend to right now.
Chosen One is competing with the Centaur to see who can get the last hit there. Hellscream playing the most greedy 4 I've seen there. Actually body blocked the Chosen One with a Centaur by accident just to get the last hit.
Speaking of Centaur, down bottom, there's that level 2 spin coming in handy for Rezo. We've used a smoke on someone. I didn't quite see who smoked. Might have been Lodine. Yeah, he's going to stay alive, but just barely as the Earth Spike is there, as it allows Zayats to pop the stick. Maybe even allow them to turn on the Kiri Teach, but no, he's out of vision for the Shadow Realm attack. And just a little bit of saber rattling down bottom.
Yep. I feel like Zayats is playing this lane incredibly well. Like the Magic Stick is constantly being a bait for the enemy team, and also the choice of infused raindrops. He just needs to survive and annoy him, draw aggro essentially. One of his signature heroes as well, the Dark Willow. He's known for like the Doom, for example, and Nyx and Techies,
top lane. Oh. Okay, great enchant to get rid of the Inkswell still, and then he saw it onto the Chosen One with a crush. He's going to allow him to get the kill. Now Lil being ran down by the Hellbear Smasher. Oh, they don't get the tomato clap though, so he's going to be able to outrun him.
And the bottom lane, they also kill Rezo in turn for Kiritich. Juggernaut using that Blade Fury. Zayats, though, still alive. We do have the Shadow Realm. Can we kill Kiritich with this? The creep finally gets vision, but Kiritich just gonna outrun this. He has phase, but it's like, no, please. He wants the catapult last hit, not gonna be too greedy. Primalmaze used, Kiritich walking. No, he walked into it at the end. What just... Kiritich.
He couldn't sneak through here.
Oh,
he couldn't sneak
because he has the little building there.
Yeah, he's too small. Really nice placement. Zayats, man, a Willow player is the worst, honestly. I'm telling you.
That is disgusting, because you feel like that was like a Saw movie. He had to choose his own death, his own way to die.
Exactly, with some political statement thrown in there as well. Chosen One, they missed the Inkswell. He's going to die to the Phantom? No, he gets rid of it at the last second. Icred TP's in as well. TP'ing in, mind you, and he's not going to get anything for this. Maybe Lil? No, Stampede. That's also for bottom, because they're making another play onto Lodine, who gets the Earth Spike onto the Willow, but the Cursed Crown still going to leave him stunned. Kiritich turning now with a level 3 Blade Fury. Is that enough damage for Zayats to die this time? And no, I mean it is, but he dies to the Kobold Foreman.
Never a win against Zayats. You do have Blade Fury for 13 more seconds, but Rezo will be able to tank this up. In the top lane, they also forced on their TP from the Enchanters, almost got killed by the Ursa. Ironclad's back to the mid lane to farming, and we are seeing Young G starting to gank a bit. You know, he's seeing Ankrite doing it, he's like, I guess I'll do the same. But he didn't really find a valuable target. Bottom is a difficult lane to gank because of Juggernaut's Blade Fury. I guess line you can kill, not that valuable. And top lane, if Ankrite's there, you really can't gank it either.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I see the reason though. I like the movement. I think Ember is a bit more difficult in these early ganks because again, he's got the point in the Syrian chain, so now he's going to be a bit more useful and may be able to use these down bottom and a Lodine as Zayat sets up another set of the Bramble Maze. Young G in with the kill. Single remnant used there. He's got the regen rune as well, so he might stick around, waste a lot of his mana, and look to push this bottom wave. Along with Resolution, Ankrid is going to find an Invis rune for his bottle, though, and that's not going to be scouted by the Hellraisers. This could be a big moment for him. Probably his second favorite rune to find. Maybe his favorite rune. I don't know. In a mid lane Tiny, what do you think you prefer? A haste or an Invis?
Haste, probably. Oh, Kiritich leaves. Icrad, there's like a tag team here. You go, Icrad, and then they cancel the other TP. Icrad stays here alone.
Oh, well, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's very awkward. I mean, that's the right play, I think. If you go TP there, you lose your line, too.
Well, now at least he's happier to have the Invis rune than the haste, because he'd be dead even if he had that haste rune here. But speaking of dead, so is this tower. Rezo is going for that Vanguard first item as well, as Ironclad will rotate still back over to the mid lane. With the Invis rune, he's still got a little bit left of it, but good patience from Hellraisers. They probably scouted the TP, I think, and saw someone TP it, and that was the Tiny. And when the TP completed and no one was there, it's like, oh, he got an Invis rune, okay. Because no one is showing in lanes. It's very weird for no one to be farming this mid lane right now over on the side of Hellraisers.
That is true. That's why now they decide to move the Ember there, as he should be. And they go to the top lane as well. Kuman only bringing a health on himself, as he's actually the most underfarmed core in his team. That's why they're putting more pressure onto him. Make sure the Battle Fury never comes out. Again, the Cross of Hate is nice here to deter Kuman, but he has the Enrage worst case scenario to dispel it.
And now he's got an Ember coming to help.
Yeah, I don't know if you can fight this. Lodine, get hit by the Cursed Crown. They're like, Lodine, you separate from us, and you die alone.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yeah, down he goes. This is a good game to be trying to separate. You don't want to be dying, holding the hands of your other of your allies this game, because they got plenty of abilities that could take advantage of that. Curse Crown, Bramble Maze, Ursa, depending on the build he goes for, and Bedlam as well, which we're seeing now onto the slaughter. RTP's coming here for the Grimstroke. Lil's close to level 6, but not close enough for the point of the Soul Bind. They're trying for a kill into Young G. Does have a Remnant out. It's not too far away, so he's going to have to utilize that final Remnant to make sure he gets out of dodge. Going for Maelstrom first here on Young G, by the way, as all of Nemiga are going to group up for a big push here into the middle lane.
He's got double bounties that were saved for him just so he can bottle them both. Nice, full efficiency here from Young G, as the rest of Nemiga tries to push this mid lane tower. A bit difficult though. Oh, the catapult finally came by, but a bit too late. Now they go for the slaughter a second time. Has the magic wand, can he use it in time? He can't. Chosen One gets destroyed before he even gets a little bit of healing. As Lodin is the next target, Inkswell combo working out. Avalanche to give him more space. Lodin's already down. Will Einkat die as well? This is a big deal. Stampede, they all run towards him. And in the end, Einkat actually survives early on to those damage. They have the Omniscience as well, used for Lil. At least it's a kill for Nemiga. Most importantly, it's a save for Nemiga as they make sure that Einkat doesn't die. Still a win for Hellraisers, mind you, especially as Ursa keeps farming and now has surpassed the Juggernaut in terms of farm.
Yeah, big kill for them there. Nice play. I like the bit of aggression from Hellraisers. I think this is what we're more used to seeing, them taking the advantage, because they never really got the chance. Pardon me, I just bit my tongue. They never really got the chance last game to be playing from ahead, and now we kind of see them, I think, where they're more used to being this season, shall we say.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, this is exactly like the games we've seen from Hellraiser until now. Mind you, usually their lanes don't go this well, though. Like, usually it is a team that does better in the mid-game. That's where they really excel. Last game, that's very surprising to me. But Nemiga, I think, also follows that idea, and Nemiga also does very well in the lane. So I think Hellraiser this time try to concentrate more on that. Their rotations have been very fluid. They've been doing a really good job of, like, just denying the enemy team farm and space in general. I like how they've been playing.
Oh,
Did they go for the fish here?
Yeah, there's a smoke gank on the other side of the map, too. We'll keep our eyes on that, as the Terrorize will connect, push him out of the tier 4 tower, back into the Bedlam. Down he goes. Wow. The smoke gank on the other side of the map is going to find Kuman. Can they burst him down before the Enrage comes out? We have a Lion Finger. Nicely done.
So end up being offlane for carry, so kind of a win for Nemiga in that sense. However, I just want to remark the impact Zayat is having with his Dark Brillo. It's absolutely insane. That kill bottom was more him than the Ember.
Yep.
It's crazy. I honestly don't understand how he's this good on the hero. He's had pretty much all the ganks around the map. I mean, what is his kill score right now? Yeah, he's participated in all kills but one on his team. That's incredible.
Yeah, Youngji helped with the Searing Chains, but I'm pretty sure Zayas would have had him dead to rights there. No, I know, but yeah, all the damage there was going to be courtesy of the Willow. And unfortunately, you know, if someone from Valve is listening, and I know every single time Avo and I cast, Gaben tunes in, and Ice Frog, hello. But
hi guys.
For some reason, you can no longer, with Dota Plus, when you were in the lobby, you used to be able to check people's death summaries in-game. You can no longer do that. That's been broken since 7.29 came out, so that'd be a nice change. Because that was always really nice, because then we could actually see how much damage Zayats actually did there.
Like, I'm paying for Dota Plus for this exact feature. I don't actually get to play through it. I'm casting all the time.
Of course. And let me tell you, oh boy, Dota Plus is a great feature.
It's a great feature. Please do subscribe.
Do subscribe,
Send
everyone.
us a check in the mail. Thank you.
Use code BSJ.
For Dota Plus. Young G. Oh no, they don't catch it with the Earth Spike. You gotta try the Hex first, but Hex has lower range than Earth Spike. So you know, if you think you can catch him like that.
Hey,
unfortunately, Young G has a good sixth sense.
And you force out the Remnant, right? So that's got value. Although, you know...
that's not good. Hellscream doesn't want to die here. Terrorize been used. There's no save for him. So much magical damage. They also see Einkat because of the Soul Bind there. But Einkat is still a bit too tanky. He's able to run away. He still has no Blink Dagger, though.
So let's say, tell Rezo that it looked like he was going to go for a bit of a swim underneath that tier 2 tower, but decides against it. Top lane, Karatich is going to spin and TP out after Young G shows up with the Maelstrom proxy. He's right out of there. Was tanking the tower, but he was totally fine. TP is just to the tier 1 tower up top lane. Rezo finished up the Blink Dagger, 800 gold away. So far, so good here for the Hellraisers. I'd say they're getting their items with a pretty good timing. Zayats as well for the first item, Mule Scepter, as we usually see on the Dark Willow. It is going to be the Battle Fury Ursa. Okay, so not much change as compared to what we're used to seeing on this hero.
Yeah, I think the other, I haven't seen anyone do any other build on the hero. Ever since, the nerf to Abyssal Blade, just completely nullified the other build for the Ursa, which was the Rush Basher with the Blank and Abyssal Blade, because you don't have the extra mobility to farm that item, right? You just need to.
Oh, Ingrid.
You just need to go for the battle.
Great toss. Oh, except not really, because Rezo just ran right back at him. But
Zayat, a haste route.
Yeah, this time around could not connect on the Bramble Maze. Instead, it was going to be the small camp that absorbed the Bramble meant for Ingrid. So that's going to be the first time I think we use Stampede and it doesn't get a kill.
Yeah, it's true. The other times Zad's gotten a kill. The other times was almost a re-engagement. Like the time they used it on the tiny mid, for example, didn't quite get that kill. You could argue that the Lion was dead anyway to the Stampede. I feel like that Stampede, and they always use it against Aincrad, it's just not the easiest hero to kill. And Lion just dies alone. The Lion might just die by himself. It doesn't really matter if you use Stampede or not.
Yeah, well, the Lion definitely sleeps tonight. You know, he's been doing a lot of that.
He's been to hell and back to hell and back again.
They're underneath a ward, so he might take another trip here, but no, he knows. He's gonna go ahead and get rid of that observer ward real quick.
Yeah, the borders are closed, dude. It's Rona season. You can't take trips anymore.
Yeah, sorry.
Needs to be wary here.
Who's the guy? Who's the boat man for the River Styx? I always forget his name.
Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah, Karen is. You can't go with Karen.
Of course, spelled K-A-R-R-E-N. Let the Karens in the show.
Yeah, of course. Karen,
yeah, she's like,
not wearing a mask.
you should really like bring the coins here for the boat, because otherwise we're not gonna take you. It's like super disrespectful.
Oh goodness.
Anyway, we finally got the Blink Dagger on Aincrad here. A pretty big deal for Nemiga. This Blink Dagger will help him now create some more space for the Juggernaut, who's been keeping his pace with the Ursa, but at the cost of Starter's farm to a large degree. We're seeing Hellraisers is pulling off what they always do, which is a nice little tricore. Everyone farm their team, whereas Nemiga has been forced into a 4-1, even if they don't want to.
Yep.
Blink Dagger on Slaughter and Tiny now gives them a gank squad opportunity, and then they start going for smokes. They might be able to get kills.
Yeah, Slaughter's got a Blink Dagger here as well, but there's just more bodies here for the Hellraisers. In fact, everyone is here. Of course, they see Young G and now Lil with this observer where they've got placed square there defensively. Now they know Zayats is here, so they know the whole party is here. And Jug not ready to fight. In fact, he's farming a big old stack of Ancients, so they're just going to probably look to delay them. Okay, anchored in with a nice toss right into the Hex of the Lion Finger as well. Nicely done.
There's the Blink Dagger reveal. Soulbind on top of that to delay them. The sprint can't be impactful enough, and the Stampede, of course, to be able to just run away from these guys. They know that now they've hit a small peak of power, and they're actually going for this. Kiritich, he gets tossed, has no Blade Fury, has no need. Lil is in trouble against those phase boots. He's just gonna get the kill. 2 kills, simple ones, not the kills you were looking for, which obviously was the Ursa. You'd really need that kill, but at least it's a bit of help to regain some map control here. And Kuman, Chosen One has seen him. Again, still has Enrage if he needs to get rid of this. Toss was available for Aincrad, but a bit too dangerous to go in there.
He actually uses Enrage just to be able to dispel. That's what we heard. They're not fighting him, don't you worry. But a beautiful toss. You know, Lion, he's...
Yeah, really well done.
He's the position 5. He's dreaming of the Blink Dagger, you know, classic Lion things, only green things in the inventory, Tranquils, a Salve, a Tango left over from the laning stage, and that stick, and just dreaming.
Oh, fine Slaughter. Let's see. We have a Slithering. I don't think you can use it in time. No, the stuns are too good. The follow-up by Hellraisers is really good, and they have solid initiation, so they can do the same thing Nemiga can with less resources spent. The Nemiga strat really depends on how well the Juggernaut can do in this mid-late game.
Yeah, that's very true. And again, the same as last game, Aincrad right now hitting a big power peak, but underneath wards, Rezo's going to get stunned up, but the Inkswell still managing to lock down Aincrad right into the Bramble Maze. He goes. The roots now, this time from Young G. We've got the Omni Slash, but Kiritich doesn't want to stick around here. He's going to TP away and leave Aincrad for dead.
Okay. So they played that quite defensively, really thinking that they couldn't fight that. I mean, I guess the center just eats your Omni and you don't do anything against that, so maybe that's the idea behind it. But you just left Aincrad to die. That also means a Roshan for sure, because there's an Ursa in the enemy team, so you know that's going to happen.
Ursa with a DD as well, which is nice.
You could have calculated that, but even just the Ursa alone will lead to take this Roshan soon enough, right? And you're Radiant, so that's one of your advantages as well. That's a huge loss. That ward is a meaningful ward by Hellraisers. Protected Roshan, allows you to take tier 1 up top, took the triangle kill as well.
Yep.
What a ward.
Very nice. Very, very nice one. The ward spots are very, very strong in this patch. Usually as the meta begins to kind of distill and percolate a little bit more, teams will come up with some off-brand ward spots, you can call them, right? where they won't really be utilizing the cliff. But we're 5 weeks into this meta with a lot of DPC games, lots of officials played, and we're still heavily contesting this ward spot. This one goes largely ignored for the most part because it's a free D ward. This one is usually huge as well. You can see Nemiga currently pinging it out right now, and here's Lodine, you know, right here. It's almost like I know my ward spots, and they're going to try and fight underneath this one. Against an Aegis on Ursa, though, a bit risky.
Trying to go for the Ember Pill again, not going to work out. Instead, the Enchantress in trouble. Soulbind used with a double silence. We do have an Omni, but not used yet. Blade Fury first, trying to kill the Grimstroke, and he will accomplish this at the expense of Lodine and the Chosen One. Again, we keep the Omni, trying to avoid it. Oh, the Omni was used for creeps to avoid the Terrorize. Aincrad dying in the back lines. Now is the Jug alone against 4 heroes. He won't be able to survive. Hellraisers just decimated Nemiga.
Yeah, there's the tip out from Zayats as well. It goes, that was a cute play, but next time just eat the Terrorize maybe, because in essence, what that allowed, basically Kuman, especially here on the side of Hellraiser, what that Omni Slash allows him to do is just completely murder the backline. So you can see, as you called out, Aincrad dying in that fight, but so does the Slardar, so does the Anch, Lodine I think taking a death here as well, simply because Jug got kited up north by Lil, who does end up dying, I believe, out from the Blade Fury here. But at what cost, you ask yourself? Because he's immediately, I mean, look, Zayats, he's just pump faking the Terrorize, eventually just throws it out, but it's done so much at basically reducing the impact that the Juggernaut could have had in this fight.
I wonder if he just banned the Willow next game as a respect ban. I don't know if he can afford that, but like, it's really settled the early game for Hellraiser. The center has also been incredible, by the way, by Rezo, one of his best heroes on top of that. But I just feel like Nemiga hasn't really had an option to fight at all. And whenever they get fights, it's really pick-offs. But the moment there's like 3 or more heroes, the fights become impossible, right? The Juggernaut hasn't had much impact. The core-to-core match between Ursa and Juggernaut is really good for the Ursa. And the Slardar, I mean, I haven't really seen the point of the Slardar in this game.
No.
He's just a subpar initiator.
6 games here played in this region without a win on the Ursa. This could be the first. We'll see. It's a little bit early to call it, 21 minutes in, but an 8K net worth lead has me pretty securely favoring Hellraisers as we begin to get into this mid-game.
Yep, I agree. I think the Hellraisers are looking very strong. I don't think there's a point as well where Nemiga becomes stronger, which is my concern.
Stampede. Nice Hex out from Lodine is going to at least stop Rezo from getting the stomp out, but Young G's here with plenty of damage. Even has found himself here the Grove Bow, which of course is going to be useful for him for the attack speed as well as the amplifying of the magic damage. It's magic damage, right? Not spell damage? Yeah, magic resistance. Okay. It's interesting that this item reduces magic resistance because the only other item that used to do this was the older Veil of Discord. It would actually reduce magic resistance. Now I believe Nyx Assassin Agshard does this, and so does, of course, the the Grove Bow. We'll be taking a look now. Oh, okay. Zayats has the Yule Scepter. I saw someone with an Agshard here. Who's got it?
Radiant's top tower.
Is it Ursa already?
The Centaur, actually.
Yeah, Ursa does have one as well. Yeah, okay.
I mean, the Ursa one now, what is Slaughter for? Like, seriously, now with the shot, I honestly feel like there's no use to the Chosen One. You can kill everything but the Ursa, essentially, which is your biggest pain right now. Hellscream, at least he's creating space by doing this, but he'll die for sure. And the shard on Centaur also really helps guarantee these kills on Hellscream, right? Because you just constantly double edge him.
Yep.
And that way he can't create that much space.
Plus gives you a little bit of extra strength. That's always super nice to have, even against an Enchantress. You know, I don't really care about so much. I mean, you do care about killing her, but when you kill her and you get a meaningful buff on yourself for perhaps the next scrap, it's always really nice to have. Doesn't last too long though, right? 15 seconds? It's not too bad, but not a whole lot of time either. What's going on down here? Oh,
I mean, it does stack though.
He's got Kiritich yet again. He can spin and TP out, but will he be able to? No, he's not. Permastunned.
I was gonna... Oh, even Zayats with a line. And they tip him for that. That was a good line. Rezo, by the way, the double edge, it does stack though, so you refresh the duration every single time you use it. So
okay, it's not like Essence Shift, right? Where they each have their own individual.
No.
Okay,
exactly. So it's just quite nice. I think that the shard for Centaur is mostly for the slow though. The slow allows you to catch up to the enchanters easily. Talk about catching up. Aincrad, they try to do the same. Kuman sees a courier instead and kills the courier. Goes well. Next time it won't be your pet. Aincrad will be you. As bottom lane, they do the same against Lodine. They're trying their best. The frog is gonna be dispelled in time, and that's gonna be a kill against Lodine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this Lion, he's having a little bit of a doo-doo game himself, isn't he? It's been rough for him.
You know, it's been a really difficult game because they just have so many easy ways to kill them, and your supposed initiators and tanks are just not being able to do as much because you can't really get 5-on-5 engagements. Yeah, your pickoff potential is nice, but I don't think Hellraiser has ever given you the opportunity to do so. They're really good at punishing these kind of lineups.
We've got a BKB ready now for the Chosen One. Of course, we need everyone for Nemiga ready to fight. You need the perfect engagement here is pretty much how it has to play out. But Aincred with a blink, and now Echo Saber is able to pump out a little bit more burst damage. So Young G, he's got his BKB though, but maybe if you can get the jump onto him, you can definitely very easily burst him here. It's going to take all of your ultis for sure, so definitely be careful on the re-engage from the Hellraisers, but we need to get something going for Nemiga. We're running on fumes at this stage.
We'll see.
Rezo's not that target, of course.
Nemiga?
Dire are scanning.
I think Rezo can tank just about anything here at this stage, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, what is your target? Is the Dark Willow even valid as a target? I think it might be, honestly.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of the Terrorize. If you can stun her and kill her, she's relatively easy to kill if you manage to stun her, right?
Good positioning, though. Rezo just keeping himself out in front. Young G as well. Just confident with his BKB. It doesn't even have a remnant back, but he's confident.
I mean, Kuman's not going to die here either. He has the shard.
Okay, there's a ward up. So now...
Even if you go for Kuman, I think he honestly survives. You have Lotus Orb on top of this. There we go. You go for Kuman. Okay, they find the Dark Willow, but instead of trying to go for Kuman, never mind. He does die. There we go. That burst was good. Can they follow this up with something nice, though? Can they kill anything else? He's going to go for Lil. Omni. Not bad. I guess they caught him right as they divided themselves, so they couldn't get the Lotus off in time. Or didn't really help, honestly.
Young G is not going to be able to escape here because I've got the Corrosive Haze reapplied. Aincred jumping right back in. And he's going to actually...
That was a really good fight.
I mean, he died actually even after using the BKB. That was a great fight for Nemiga. And yet again, just to show you, Avo, they fight underneath the ward that they just plant down. That ward giving them so much vision, allowing them to confidently jump onto the Ursa. Very, very nice fight. He only pull up a replay of that one so we can see that one again. Yes, please.
Well, they're actually hunting for Kirtish right now, though. I think they want to go for it. Can they catch him? They hope stop avoided by the Manta. Kirti's like, nah, I know your trick, Zayats. Not gonna happen again. Yeah, the tip. These guys are having fun. Alright, so I actually overestimate how tanky the Ursa was, perhaps. I really think he wouldn't die to that combo, but I guess with the Slaughter, it's so easy to burst him, and there's no way. Like, they didn't dispel Lotus Orb in time, so he swallowed they didn't dispel the Corrosive Haze in time, so he actually took a fair amount of physical damage, particularly the Echo Saber with the Corrosive Haze still on. And Echo Saber Tiny deals, like, what, 400 damage boosted by the Haze? That's a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see it now, right?
Yeah,
So they stun him. There we go. They get everything off with the Corrosive Haze, and then final Lotus Orb comes out towards the end, which didn't really work out.
You're exactly right. It's so much burst damage. I mean, and that's the problem that Ursa always kind of does have, right? And you can kind of artificially increase your amount of burst damage with picks against him, for example, like the Faceless Void that usually do pretty decently against him, right? But also, if you have a draft well suited to do it, that's more than viable as well. As there's Zayats. He actually gave up an 8x kill streak on over to Aincred. They're going to try and reinitiate here. Lodin pretty much one-shot as Rezo does manage to find a two-man stomp. Chosen One popping the BKB, trying to fight through it, trying to save Aincred, who will be allowed to walk away, but Young G with the BKB still hot on his tail. Kiritich going to jump back in, but he's rooted on down. Aincred finally will drop, but Rezo also falling low here in the back lines, trying to find a hook stop, will at least allow them to get the kill on the Chosen One as Zayats is going to buy back. Lodin is back here yet again, but back to hell he goes. Young G still continuing to chase as Kuman with the blink forward, looking for Kiritich. Did apply that Earthshock movement speed, slow, but Kiritich with the Manta style purging it off. Kuman deciding maybe to threaten for the kill onto Hellscream, but he's going to cancel that one. A good fight this time around from Hellraisers.
I would say that there also was a bit of a mistake by Nemiga, honestly, to continue to fight that when Juggernaut was not available. Granted, Ursa was also not available there, but like they came late into the fight, and Ursa can do much more coming late to the fight because he just bursts and sweeps rather than Juggernaut, who kind of wants to get the Omni Slash when everything is being used. Also, Omni Slash was on cooldown. And there was a really weird moment where Slaughter decided that instead of attacking anything else, he was going to go for the Centaur, who, as we mentioned, is really tanky. I mean, you can see it here. Look, like they get the silence off, they're running away. And there's this specific moment where Slaughter joins, activates BKB, he goes, Offlaner Rumble! And he just keeps attacking the Centaur, despite the fact that Young G was murdering Aincred behind him.
Boys, the cheese Guys, I don't know if they saw the cheese because it might have been blocked by the Ember Remnant. So there's just a cheese on deck, and there's no couriers going to pick it up. Lil is the one here, just to catch you up, guys. Lil's the one to pick up the Aghanim Scepter, the Aghanim's Shard from that second Roshan. Kuman, of course, with the Aegis of Immortality. And no one wanted the cheese. We're a bit lactose intolerant here on the side of Hellraisers.
So weird. I don't understand. Did they miss it on purpose, or what was it?
I don't know, because Lil ran right past it. He saw the Aghanim Shard, Aegis dropped here, Egg Shard was here, and the cheese was here.
Is it like weights, you know, like in anime where they put the training weights and that's how they train, so they don't get the cheese, and that way you can become a better team. If we have to rely on the cheese, we're a bad team.
Do you think?
Is that the idea?
Do you think? You know, usually anime and real life are separate for two reasons, right?
Yeah, because here we don't have 500-year-old dragon girls. That's the main reason.
Very true. I mean, we'll take a look at that. I mean, it's a very brief replay. Don't worry. They just look. Lil walks right past the cheese. Doesn't want it. He says,
why is it a replay?
Just get that away from me. I don't want it.
I don't understand. I mean, this shit is still in the pit. I wonder if Nemiga will ever check the pit.
Me too. They're saving it for next Rosh. It's an offering for Rosh on the next time. Kuman said, hey, we beat you up too easily. Have this cheese, so maybe it's a bit harder for us to kill you.
Yeah, maybe they like stronger cheeses. Oh, they're gonna go for the tiny, nice little 4-staff there. Beautiful, Southern Crush up to 4. And the Chosen One proceeds, trying to kill off Lil. BKB active, but Deer's just chunking it. That's gonna be the Chosen One falling. Hellscream as well. Omnis hasn't been committed, but without their Ghost Haze any longer, it's not gonna deal enough damage. Ironclad re-engages just to get caught and stopped. Ironclad can't do anything as he gets dropped. That's gonna be Nemiga losing 2 of their most important cores. Juggernaut managed to survive, taking the Aegis with them, of course. But that's not what they were looking for. They needed a kill there, not just the Aegis.
Yeah, they needed to kill into literally anyone. Unfortunately, Ursa, we're kind of seeing how even sometimes out of the laning stage, Ursa still has really no problems dispatching of the Slardar, especially with this kind of ridiculous Aghanim Shard. A hard dispel for yourself, a strong dispel, I should say, every 7 seconds? Thank you very much. I'll take that. Plus, we've got a Lotus for another strong dispel for him. So it just feels about impossible to actually keep this Ursa locked down. The control needs to be pitch perfect onto him, and when you have an Aegis, it's so hard for you to really actually consistently get that lockdown and make it happen. Top lane Zayats is still bullying Kiritich here. Doesn't have Omni Slash.
Okay, I mean, he starts starting to cut lanes here the best he can, right? I'm assuming you get Shard first on this Juggernaut? Yeah, he's gonna go for Shard first. I think you need Shard and then maybe the Swift Slash later on in the game, but you really can't afford to go for it now. You need to go for more damage, really, or just more tools to deal with the Ursa. I think the Butterfly is a good idea. But the Shard early to be able to actually run into the fights are easier, and it's important.
Big purchase here.
Finished on Ursa.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's maybe even bigger than the one I was gonna point out, which is Rezo's Ags, providing that 40% damage reduction during Stampede. That'd be super nice for his team here. Oh, okay.
I tried to find someone.
Oh, no.
That's gonna be Lil. Again, another good 4-staff. In fact, Chosen One commits to this, gets the kill on Lil. In exchange, though, will Aincrad die? It seems like Chosen One wants to really finish off the Ursa. Kuman, that's not gonna do anything, dude. He just gets bursted down by Kuman. And again, the immediately dispel the Cross of Haze. Aincrad also falls to Young G. You've lost your 2 cores. It's really juggling against the world. Well, actually, no, because the Star does buy back here. But yeah, that was an unnecessary fight.
Yeah, no, we can't go back in. And by the way, guys, someone's picked up the cheese. What? Where is it?
I didn't see. Oh, it's the Ursa.
Oh, okay. He was just, he was out of backpack slots, and he won't just leave it on the ground, I guess. He like you said, he wanted more. He wanted like a blue cheese or something like that, So he was. Uh-oh, hold on. Lion, Yule sceptered up by Zayats as Ember incoming along with Reza to put him down. 13th death of the game here for Lodin. Very hard game for him this time around. As we can see, there's more than one way for him to get jumped. And not a whole ways out of this one either. Look at the ring of brambles that with the Aghanim Shard Zayats builds for him. Just about impossible for him to leave.
Yeah. Okay, they go for the Enchantress. That's a little more game to save her, but not enough. Unfortunately, Kiritich in the middle of this. At least Slithering Crush will give him more space. With the help of Aincrad, though, they have the Nomics here, but with the Lotus Orb, they got reflected. Ursa's doing more damage than Kiritich is to begin with. And that's gonna be GG. You get one Omni reflected, that's it. You don't want to keep on playing.
Yep, that is GG. That is the game over. As Hellraisers, they are going to force a game number 3. Losing is not something that they're used to.
हाय गाइज, वेलकम बैक विथ अनदर वीडियो। तो गाइज इस वीडियो में मैं आप लोगों को बताऊंगा कि कैसे आप लोग भी फ्री फायर के बड़े यूट्यूबर और पबजी के बड़े यूट्यूबर जैसे अपने वीडियो में भी सॉन्ग ऐड कर सकते हो विदाउट नो कॉपीराइट, यानी कि आपको कोई भी कॉपीराइट उसमें नहीं मिलेगा। तो गाइज उन सॉन्ग्स का लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दिया है और चाहो तो आप लोग कहीं और से भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। तो बारी बारी से मैं सभी सॉन्ग्स को आपको सुना देता हूँ। तो सॉन्ग्स अच्छे लगे तो वीडियो को लाइक कर देना और चैनल पे नहीं हो और आज तक हमारे चैनल पे नहीं आए हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना। तो वीडियो का शुभारंभ करते हैं।
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted. still hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all. Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? What can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. To change up.
just not that great a pick anymore. Like, it's still okay, but his win rate has tanked a lot. He still gets picked very often in the first, second phase when you don't know what else to pick, and I think there are better options now. That's why I like the experimentation by Young G going for the Ember instead, because I feel like they do very similar things, but people haven't wisened up against the new Ember yet, whereas they know exactly how to deal with the Void Spirit nowadays.
Yeah, true.
Let's see what Nemiga runs here, though. They ban the Storm, another one of Young G's heroes. They just love the spirits, right? And they pick up the Oracle themselves. Okay, so against Lifestealer, Oracle Troll is a really good combo because Lifestealer struggles against this. And Troll, not the fastest hero, but definitely not the slowest. A very, very mid-game hero. A bit faster than the Ursa, certainly, because he farms faster naturally. Combined with the Oracle is really strong. And also kind of hard to beat in lane as well. Like if you pick a TV, for example, another good hero with Oracle, that beats Lifestealer too, but then Grimstroke can really crush him. You can pick a good lane and you can beat him. Oracle Troll is really good when you're second pick because you can't have the last phase pick of this second phase,
right.
And that means that it can still counter you.
Exactly. So you need some sort of strength here, and pairing it with the Oracle is super nice. Plus, correct me if I'm not wrong, but because Lifesteal is based, on the damage that you actually do, and because Oracle ulti locks your HP and you do no effective damage, it all just gets added to a calculation.
No,
I don't believe...
That's not how Feast works.
Okay.
Only with Lifesteal.
Oh, Feast is max HP. That's right.
Yes. You're right with Lifesteal, but you're not right with Lifestealer.
That's right.
Of course. He invented this thing.
He did. It's named after him.
So the Feast ability, it does work based on max HP, and you will deal the damage max HP and heal regardless of the damage that you deal. Ooh, interesting choice for Zayat. I know this is Zayat's hero because he used to love this when he was playing on VP for a while. Actually, he didn't win very much with it, but he did try it a lot. And I remember watching this as well. Back before Zayat played 4, actually, I watched them for a long time. Casted this game for a long time. Was in a Kyrgyz team called No Lifers. He played together with them for like 2 or 3 years. He used to play 5 then because he was also the captain. And he used to love the triple 7-5. And I think that's a really solid hero in this meta, actually. It's like ET, but more around the defensive side. ET is more offensive. This is like the defensive ET. Still wins your lanes and everything, but protects your towers as well.
Yeah, I just gave it a quick Google here for Zayat on his win rate. He's got 58 games on the Chain Protector. This is going to be his 59 with a 71, we'll round up, % win rate on the hero.
Yeah, it's a good hero for him, yeah. I think that also doesn't include a lot of the tier 2, tier 3 games he used to play because he comes from that scene and most of those games don't get categorized. I was lucky enough to have to cast those. I mean, sorry, get to cast those, but most people won't remember those.
Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned it because I believe the last time he played it was back when he was on VP. It was almost a year ago. It was 12 months ago was his last game here. Well, it's been a while.
I'm a big fan of this guy. I know his history.
It's been a while, but of course, you're a lot more annoying in the lane now, especially because they did actually buff the Nature's Grasp a little bit more. Actually, kind of nice to have versus the Ursa, because he can struggle. If you use Earthshock, then you're just going to be trapped inside of those roots.
Ursa, but I will say, is a bit slower against the... it's a bit slower as a carry compared to the Troll. And... he does have the one weakness, which is his lanes can be countered, right? Hence why, Hellraisers goes for the DP. Because that's one of Ursa's better heroes, and also a hero he loves playing against the Ursa, because it's a good lane against them. So here, Hellraisers will try to take advantage of this by nullifying the Ursa's lane with a much better matchup than the one Nemiga picked last game, and trying to prevent this core-to-core matchup, which is certainly Ursa favored once again. However, if you play Tempo, I think Hellraisers has a solid chance, especially because DP brings push, so it's a good way to reduce map control for the Ursa, and actually reduces farming speed without having to kill him.
Yeah, of course, this is not the DP of metas past where you would pick her first blindly into your draft and you would just figure out where she'd go later.
Thank God.
It ought to be a mid lane DP. Pretty decent versus the Centaur if you can get the Spirit Siphon on top of him because you just lifesteal for so much. But of course, there's a little bit of counterplay there with Stampede. But that's not really how you ever want to be playing Centaur. You never want to be like playing Centaur if there's like a Razor or a DP. You'd rather use the Stampede on your own terms if you can, whether that's to go aggressively or disengage. So I would say even with that caveat, it's still a nice pick here for the Death Prophet.
The silence can also be brutal because Centaur usually doesn't have to worry about these kind of things. Usually doesn't get into spells because he's like, well, I get stunned, who cares, right? Doesn't buy BKB or anything. But the silence can be a huge annoyance because of its duration and the fact that you might just need to go for an early Lotus Orb to be able to deal with that so you can get Stampede, like you said, on your own terms. I like this pick a lot by Hellraisers. The final pick is going to define him a lot, but Nemiga has last pick. So Hellraisers needs a consistent mid laner. And this is tough because that pool of heroes usually is the spirits, which have all been banned, and the puck. An option that's a bit older, but I think might work this game actually would be the Kunkka. I don't mind the Kunkka. Kind of decent.
Oh.
Dire remaining.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Nemiga agrees with me, apparently. They banned the Kunkka. I mean, you know a hero that actually, it's a bit weird because we haven't seen it a lot, but I like it a lot with the lifestealer. It's actually the TA. I actually think might work here. Because if you're trying to out-tempo the enemy, I know Young G loves the TA. And you can go for nice invest bombs here for the lifestealer as well.
5 seconds.
Okay. My only concern with the TA pick is then obviously with the DP in the offlane, it feels like if you're very vulnerable to getting run over if somehow this 10th pick is hard counters you. So okay, the Invoker I think is a bit of a safer pick for Young G. Just because I
agree.
I don't think with a lifestealer and a DP, if one of those guys doesn't at least get a little bit of momentum in their lane, it just feels like you have nothing stopping you. Except for maybe Zayat's on the on the TP, but that's not always going to be enough.
Yeah, it might be a bit too greedy, I agree with you. Like, I like the tempo for TA lifestealer, but I agree that maybe there's a point where you can't beat the enemy, especially if they go for a fast mid laner.
Yep.
Invoker's very solid though. I love him because of the spell against the Ursa, of course, always a nice thing to have, and also a great way to counter the Stampede with Tornado.
Yeah,
what
definitely.
What does Nemiga go for here?
They need a mid laner as well versus the Invoker. Something that's not going to be too vulnerable versus the Quas Wex.
Can you afford to go for like Viper, for example, here? Because he's also good against lifestealer because it's slow. That pierces BKB. Right?
Yeah, Viper Strike is super nice to have.
Invoker doesn't do too well in that lane with your Quas Wex.
The only thing I don't like is the Treant. Both the Treant and the Grimstroke feel kind of strong versus the Viper. Because Tree, especially with the Grasp, Viper is not very mobile. In fact, that's probably his biggest weakness. And if you get stuck in a Grasp, he just feels so useless.
Yeah, you need like 4-step or something relatively early in that build, and that's a bit tough to use. Like, it has to be like a Hurricane Pike, something
I like the idea of the hero.
Oh,
Aincrad.
Aincrad special.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that, actually. I think the Pango... I mean, the Pango against lifestealer I don't love, to be honest. Obviously, that is not a great matchup because he just dispels the... Like, Heaven's Halberd is undispellable, guys, but the other disarms in the game are dispellable, right? So
yes.
Lucky Shot is dispellable, actually, and Rollington does nothing to lifestealer, of course, just activate Rage.
Yep.
However, the Pango has utility if he gets Basher against lifestealer, so that's still fine. And he's great against Tree and Protector, great against Death Prophet, really good against Invoker. The lane is not going to be the easiest, but it's not going to be the hardest if it's Quas Wex.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 50-50, honestly.
I should hit a double check. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe it's like 55-45 in favor of Invoker, maybe even 60-40 because he is ranged. He has Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap. Like, it's annoying. I think Pango's not gonna have the easiest lane. You can't really hit him with Lucky Shot. But the mid game, I see it very strong for Nemiga.
5 seconds remaining.
All right. And of course, just to round it up, Lodine's disarm as well can be dispelled by anything in the game as well on that Fate's Edict.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, Fate's Edict, also the Deafening Blast on Invoker can also be dispelled now.
But
they changed that a while ago.
Because we have lots of disarms in the game, especially versus Kuman, it's important to note that he's going to have to be pretty wise, especially in team fights, utilizing that rage. And in fact, I don't know if it's that great of a BKB game, but if it goes late, I think Kuman might be conditioned into going into one anyway. Otherwise, I think Aincrad is eventually going to be able to outlast that rage just rolling around him. Because, of course, Pango's got 2 extra seconds now and less move speed in that Rolling Thunder.
The less movement speed was so minor though, like it was barely a nerf. I think the 2 extra seconds is so huge for him, especially as like a team fighting Pango, right? And I think that both lineups seem to be going for the mid game, right? Like, it's 5-on-5, like they both have good team fight, they both have solid heroes that kind of peak around the 20-25 minute mark. So that's when this kind of Pango really shines, because he can really utilize that team fight well. I like it a lot. I mean, I think the lineups are kind of even though, to be honest. I think this is the first draft where I wouldn't really go either way. It's going to be up to execution. But I like the creativity by Nemiga again. I think Aincrad added a lot to this team's drafting because he has such weird picks that he's very comfortable with, and he can run in odd matchups. And the heroes he's good with tend to be bad at laning as well. Like, they don't tend to win a bunch of the lanes, right? And him being good at them means that he can mitigate that impact and have a good mid game.
Yeah, very true. Very true, and
except for the Queen of Pain. That Queen of Pain is very strong, of course.
And he's a master tier Pangolier, mind you. Probably playing it most of all in the mid lane. I imagine people in the Eastern European servers kind of know if he picks Pango, he's going to be taking it mid lane. So don't try and pretend like you're going to be able to play mid, as he's very.
You think Aincrad cares? You think Aincrad would pick it anyway? You give me mid lane or I feed. That's the way, dude. He's an old school player.
He's very quick as well to the ward in the mid lane with the smoke as well, really beating out Young G, who doesn't even have the ward actually. He does. He's positioned his items like it looks like he has a ward, so he might go for like a deke move, but it's not going to work.
That's a huge advantage actually, the swashbuckle to be able to ward early. I never considered that. Because how many mid laners have that early mobility they can just abuse without ward?
Yeah, like Puck, or if you got an Earth Spirit on your team.
Yeah, Puck, Earth Spirit.
So Pango.
Yeah, Pango. Right?
A lot of times though, not a lot of the times, we have seen Aincred go for level 1 in Shield Crash before though.
True.
So
well, this patch particularly, because it got buffed recently.
Yeah, good point, yes, because there's a lot of Pango games for Aincred, and in most of them he is going to go for Swashbuckle, but in this patch he has been considering the Shield Crash earlier on. Mostly in melee matchups though, for the most part, and obviously versus an Invoker that is not a melee matchup, so he's going to go back to basics.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this, because if you don't have a melee matchup, what's the point? Especially because you can dispel the shield crash as well, which is part of the idea, right? The buff got really buffed at level 1. It got buffed from like 90% to 12%. Being in double digits now is great. The mana also got buffed, of course. So these two changes make it so that it's always nice to be able to trade with this. But against the Invoker, not only does he have a dispel for this, but also you're not going to trade with him, right? And like, it's just not possible. You're not going to get close to him. I still think Over Corrosion is a good build, because I think it's OP on Pango, to be honest, but it's not going to be to beat the Invoker in lane.
Yep, Anchorage just spamming the left line because he's missed the block, and to further add insult to injury, Rezo has go ahead and gone for a pause. Yeah, I mean he doesn't know obviously, but it's just a pause anyway. There he goes again, drawing hearts. This is always what Anchorage does. I've picked up on here through casting a lot of this region here within the past couple of months. Amar, the friendly guy, he's the only one with the Divine Rapier and the quick buy. Whenever it's paused, especially early, Anchored will draw hearts on the map and usually gets the rest of his team to do it with him.
Yeah, that's true. It's very cute. I like it. That's why I'm telling you, this is the team. It's a very wholesome team, honestly, in Nemiga. Like, they've actually really stuck together for a really long time. And as I said in a previous broadcast, but I'll say it again since we're paused, Nemiga, the name, does not come from copying Nigma. It's actually older than Nigma.
It is, yeah, way older than Nigma.
Yes. They're a Belarusian org, and where they're placed, there's actually a literal river called Nemiga, which is what the org is named after. So it's not just a Belarusian org, but the Belarusian org, which is why most of the players in Nemiga, if not all, I think, are actually Belarusian themselves.
Here comes the pause. It's always nice to have a little bit of a backstory, as of course I think 3 of the players right now on Nemiga, if I'm not mistaken, are Belarusian. So
it's 3.
I don't know what I was expecting.
I know Chosen One and Hellscream for sure are. I think Heritage might be Russian.
I believe so. Let me go ahead and pull it up without making sure we miss anything. Because very nice job. Hellscream showing off that he knows how to play the spacing here on the Bramble Maze, catching both Kuman and Lil immediately. Kuman, without even the first wave being dead, has to already use the healing self.
Yeah. Hellscream's like, I know you think Zayat is really good, but watch me. Watch me, pro teams. I want to be MVP too someday. Zayat's also doing the same thing, but Lodin is playing really aggressively with his Oracle, which is good. Now the safe lane on Radiant has this difficulty that the camp is so far ahead that if you're a hero like Oracle, you kind of have to make these plays.
Yeah.
They get a courier because of it, and it's difficult to get, nice little purge there. It's difficult to get Nature's Grasp for a really long time against an Oracle because of the Fortune's End, being able to dispel towards the end of Nature's Grasp.
Yeah, and he's a ranged hero, so he's usually going to be not, he sees it coming and he's not going to be caught in it for too long, and he's got the dispel. Quick note though, as I did look it up, Aincred is the 3rd Belarusian player here, so it's the 2, 3, 4 respectively on this team.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's what I thought as well. I thought of Lodin and Heritage were Russian as well. So, yeah.
Lodin is, Wikipedia has him as Ukrainian.
Oh, Ukrainian. Okay, that's good. Nice little international team presenting the other countries in Eastern Europe, right? It's always good to see scenes like coming up as well. Like, I mean, Belarus has been strong for a while, mind you, but it's nice to see that we always have new players, new blood coming from different countries. Never got the chance to play before.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that was really cool about what was it? Fantastic Five. I know, like, who is it? I think Antoha, who's not on Fantastic Five, but Trident Clan, I believe, is from Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan. Yeah, so.
And all of Fantastic Five was actually from Kazakhstan, or most of it was also. Except for 650.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Look, I think this one might be off to a little bit of a more traditional Eastern European start. I think both teams recognizing that it's a pretty crucial game 3, as there's Reza with the second pause of the game, are going to be a little bit more patient and reserved, if you will, in this early game. Not really hoping to put themselves out there to make too many mistakes.
I like the... I like what we're seeing here, honestly, by both teams. I feel like if you don't respect this early game, because you both have very similar tempos, the moment that one team makes a mistake, you're giving a huge advantage to the enemy, right? Because 15 minutes in, if you like got extra kills, honestly, you pretty much are in the driver's seat for this game.
Yeah.
Of course, if this goes too late, though, I do think that's when Nemiga gets the advantage because of the core-to-core matchup between their
I'd agree. I mean, especially as Kuman is off to a pretty rough start compared to what the Ursa is going through right now, about having just under half or just above half the CS, the Chosen One, as well as Hellscream really making a good effort here. And like you said, actually, you were like, oh, let's get Hellscream on something else other than the Ench. And there he goes. Going for the Willow.
Yeah, I even suggested getting him on the Willow, actually.
Yeah, you did.
I mentioned the Willow because I like his Willow. I think Zayat is a slightly better player on the Willow, I'll be honest, but I do find that Hellscream is really solid on these heroes as well. Very different playstyles, though. Zayat's all about the rotations and the team fighting, whereas Hellscream is more about, I am going to make your lane the worst thing you've ever seen. And he's showing it. I mean, the Willow should not be beating a lifestealer, but he is. And you're managing to actually get a really good lane for Centaur just based on Hellscream's impact alone.
Yeah, he's even going to go, oh, well, he gets experience there for the range creep. A little bit denied, of course, but he at least shares it. Hellscream, careful here. Ink's well, but Ink turned. We're going to have a little bit of the Cursed Crown. Oh, first blood is bottom, though.
Is under attack.
Yep, Zayat gets the first blood with a nice Nature's Grasp, kind of in a little bit of a choke point for the Oracle, was trying to avoid him. Really well played, and Ursa just unfortunately doesn't have enough damage just yet to kill the Trim Protector. Trim Protector has no armor, well, very little armor rather, but he has a high HP pool, which is enough to deal with the Fury Swipes.
Yep, yeah, definitely. He's even got himself here the infused raindrop to be able to tank through the Oracle combo a little bit better, especially early on, which is going to be able to really start chipping him down. I'm always disappointed. I know it's the rarer voice line for the first blood, but I always really like a tree killed you voice line for Zayat, or on the Tree Protector. But
yeah. Oh, Kirtich, is he gonna? No. Rezo was close though.
Zayat, I mean, you can tell he's a Tree Protector player. He sees the combo coming for Rezo, and he goes, oh, you're not going to have the Dispel for the Nature's Grasp, and he immediately starts pulling Kirtich. Very, very nicely done.
So in this lane against Nature's Prophet and Nature's Trim Protector and Death Prophet, it's a lane where Ursa can get last hits, but you need to spend a lot of your gold on regen if you want to be able to stay in the lane. We're seeing this by characters, right? 27 last hits is nice, but his net worth is like 200 gold above the lifestealer because he spent a lot of this gold on the regen himself.
Yeah.
Right? And not much you can do about that. You want to be able to stay in the lane. If you lose both experience and gold early, you're done for. You at least need to be able to get that experience.
Lodin can try and soften the blow here if he wants, by going for the early point in the Fate's Edict, so that he can just Fate's Edict and then get 2 heals off here. But no, he's going to go for damage. Third skill point immediately into the Purifying Flames. I thought maybe he was going to consider it. TP is coming. It's Einkrad over from the mid lane. Doesn't have enough mana, though, for the Rolling Thunder. It's not going to matter. Zayat's going to die all the same.
Yeah, I'm surprised by, like, they didn't expect this. Heinker just coming in as soon as he got over Corrosion. So actually a really good timing. It wasn't a haphazard gank. He saw them going a bit too far in, and he just got the orb. He was like, well, I can kill him. Swashbuckle with Orb Corrosion deals a ridiculous amount of damage, and he then applies it slow to make sure they can't get away. If you even get lucky with a lucky shot, they're done for. He hasn't gone for a single point in Shook Crush this lane because it's pointless against the Invoker. Instead, go for the lucky shot, and this allows you to gank much earlier. And Heinker, I mean, he even actually did well in his lane. He won the lane in terms of last hits.
Yep. Yeah, you can leave an Invoker in lane, right? It's not like you're leaving a Lesh or anything like that. So he's able to make these rotations, and without the Urn, Invoker TP is just not as scary. Okay, Disarm here onto the Train Protector, going to heal himself up a little bit more, as actually this Leech Seed, just shy of getting the kill. He's going to end up healing Zeiss a little bit here, but he's in the pinball zone for Einkrad. Can he actually end up getting the kill? Yes, he can. As up to the high ground he goes with a Swashbuckle, actually up on the ward spot.
Oh, no.
But the young G does not want to chase any further.
No, they didn't see that. They didn't see they went to the ward spot. He probably assumed that he went like right next to it.
I don't think he's even got many ways to damage him there. I mean, what can he do even? He'd already used EMP, and you need vision for the Cold Snap, so yeah. Exhort Invoker would have had a field day with him up there, but...
yeah, with Sunstrike, yeah. Oh, you're right. I guess that's the technique by Einkai. Can't see me. But that play by Rolling Thunder, I think you could have just kept the Rolling Thunder and evaded with the Rolling Thunder. He was being super efficient with the Pango. And
look,
that wasn't the play.
Look, because he's up here, actually, this might allow Kirtich to get a kill. Lil's like, what? Do they have a ward here? What's going on?
He's going to put a ward down. No, he doesn't have any wards.
No, he doesn't have any wards.
He's going to try to check you. He's like, what is INVICTUS
Wait, no, but INVICTUS, look, he's just sat here for 30 seconds. I mean, he's, oh yeah, he needs to. Oh, now they know. Oh no, now they know. Oh no.
INVICTUS, no. Oh, the nature's. I think the nature's grasp mid. It doesn't really matter. They got the kill there.
Dire's top tower.
I don't think he meant to do that. I don't think INVICTUS meant to stay there.
Yeah, true. He was just out of mana. He needed like the Oracle to just stand next to him with the Ring of Bacillus, but couldn't get anything really. Rezo's going to pop Exo down bottom, so instead Nemiga are just going to push up top lane. Hellscream's already here. I hear an Infest. It's in the river where Kuman's just pulling the wave on over, skipping it. At least making sure that it makes the siege that much more difficult. And with Zayat's here as well to be a little bit annoying to the Chosen One. Thought about going for the hoof stomp, but he's not going to be able to do that. Kurtich is here now, but good luck chasing Zayat's into the tree. Again, it was 60 or so games here on the Train Protector. First game in over a year for Zayat's, though, on the Train Protector.
But I'm sure Impulse still plays this hero as he goes for the Chosen One. There's the potential stomp. Chosen One saves it. Again, very patient player. In comes Kurtich actually. And able to punish Zayat's for this.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, really nicely done. Really nicely done.
I love the insane way that Nemiga sometimes plays. You know, just like jump over, much like the Pango did at bottom. Well, still in the same position. He's gonna die here to the Pango. The Ink Soul doesn't even trigger. Neither does the Ghost.
Do you remember the team of the Pango?
No Pango.
No Pango. I thought there was also a team called the Pango.
I don't remember that one, but definitely no Pango.
No Pango is a team for sure. But yeah, I mean Nemiga, they show signs of like I don't like I'm gonna say this and sound mean, but like they show signs of like really high level Dota knowledge, right? Like and sometimes we don't always see that, especially in the lower division, where oh this guy's slightly out of position, boom boom boom, 3 spells he's dead, right? Like everyone, and 3 spells from 3 different heroes, mind you. Zayat's getting a little bit too aggressive into the hoof stomp, into Lodine with I think holding him down there, or just Ursa with the movement speed slow, and then Hellscream setting up the Bramble Maze right underneath him to secure the kill. Very nicely executed.
Yep, I think the case to be made for Nemiga, by the way, is the fact that they like the way they play is a way that only a team that's been together for quite a long time or has a reliable core for quite a long time can play. Right? They make plays that are really just trusting each other. That teams that haven't played with each other for a long time can't really do. And in the case of Hellraisers, I would say it's mostly the same as well, but also because they've been playing together for 2 divisions and they're actually starting to show that.
Definitely.
I don't think they got better individually. I just think they got better as a team.
Agreed.
It's something that I wish that some other teams would try to mimic. Bait.
By the way, I've just looked it up. So we're talking about the same team. In 2018, they went by No Pango. In 2019, they went by The Pango.
Oh, okay, so it was the team. Okay,
Yeah.
You're right then. Just different eras of casting.
I was about to say, what? Yeah, Dendi was on the 2019 version of this roster. And so was Zayat, actually.
Interesting. They're gonna see if they can find Icon. No, Youngji's not. He's close by. I mean, they're still winning here on Hellraisers, right? They have the lead in terms of farm. And Rezo is always playing a relatively impactful Death Prophet. None of the Hooded Defiance builds that helps your team. Goes for Eels after all, as if he was playing mid.
Yeah, or the DPS of last patch. We'll see if this is going to be punished. Zayat has been scouted here, trying to get rid of the Sentry. Will do so. That should let them know that they've got vision here on the high ground. So Hellraisers not willing to give up the ward too easily as they attempt to make a tier 1 tower siege with the wagon here currently in the mid lane. EMP and Tornado ready to go, along with those 2 charges in the urn for our Invoker. So, of course, it's going to be Tornado, EMP into the Cold Snap, urn apply. That's going to be the combo here early on for Young G. Scream doing a good job here, pulling the creep wave over. So the wagon, as dumb as ever, is going to run right into the tower and just immediately die.
Lodino could be in trouble as Zayat is chasing after him.
He'd have to use Overgrowth and not worth it for the Oracle.
Has been killed.
Nah, because he's false promise anyway, so he could just dispel it
True.
as well.
True.
They managed to defend this tower somewhat, as Hellraiser is just wasting a bunch of time here. Ursa's farming at least. Zayat's in trouble, Bedlam. Not gonna deal enough damage though. Tornado faces Hellscream. I don't even know what that was for the Tornado.
Yeah, I guess he thought he was going to be able to go through the trees there.
DP didn't use Exorcism though, so like this tower is gonna fall. That's what they've determined. They saw it in the cards. They want this tower to fall.
Yeah, Aincrad has got his ulti, but with Ursa and no Centaur here to defend it, it's a very tall ask here. Centaur continuing to farm. He wants to go Van Hood before he joins any of these fights, and then into the Blink Dagger for himself. And that's the mid-tier 1 tower down without much of a fight, and we're not pushing any other lane here in favor of Nemiga. We're just getting farm.
Yeah, it's what they need to do though. Like once you hit your power spikes with both Lifestealer and the DP, I think DP also hit hers already hit hers with the Ghost Scepter. Oh, she's also building it by the way, because this game you're up against an Ursa, so
true.
Makes sense. You need to build that
True.
for sure. And then we'll see what D builds afterwards. I wouldn't mind seeing, honestly, so maybe would be an idea. Maybe you go for on this.
Is okay. Swashbuckles to the low ground.
Yeah. And for Lifestealer, obviously, until you get the armlet +1, which it seems like this game is going to be either Dezo or Sanj, that's when you want to start putting up a bit of pressure. Ursa still takes a while to get online. Battle Fury is good, actually, for Ursa. You can fight just with that, but he needs some help from his team, and his team has not gone online just yet.
Yeah, Heritage needs this Battle Fury before he's going to really start farming. For now, holding his own nicely against Kuman, who himself is going for, I believe that should be the armlet already on the way, trying to get through the Chosen One here. Actually gets him on the second hoof stomp, turned around maybe to give him a double edge, but thought better of it. So he doesn't really want to be slowed too long here.
Because they have overgrowth here, so mid also a fight going. We just saw them use that terrorize just to retreat.
The two longest laps perhaps in the entire game for Nemiga and Hellscream. Definitely practiced that one in pubs quite a few times.
Isn't Skywrath Mage also up there?
Skywrath Mage, probably. Darkseer's got a real long one.
Okay, that rage helps him, but Chosen One might still be able to get the kill on the side. And he does. Falls towards the same with a stampede. Kuman, where you going, buddy?
Oh, he can't hop in a creep.
Play with us as the 3 onto the Infesto onto the creep. Is that going to be enough heal in the tower? Kill the creep. And they hit him with the last remnants of the swashbuckle. But unfortunately, they didn't want to follow up with that.
Armlet kept him alive. That should have been a kill for him, but he had the armlet active, so that extra HP kept him alive just barely. I think I saw maybe 40 to 60 HP there at a minimum. So they are going to lose the first overgrowth. Not really that big of a deal in exchange for the Oracle ulti. But missing out on that kill into the Chosen One does feel mighty bad. I mean, you almost had him there as well underneath the tier 2 tower, but just fully healed up by the Oracle, who rotates and TPs on in. Nice bit of aggression. Oracle, Lodin, recognizing that this game is going to be proving to be a bit challenging, especially, hold that thought.
Heritage just enraged, no? Doesn't want to. He's saving onto the enrage. Really saving onto it. Now the enrage comes out. TP immediately after that. He also to cancel this. There's reinforcements though. Bedlam is available. Heritage needs to run away. He got help from the Oracle. That should be enough for Heritage to survive this. In fact, Ironclad is behind him. He has a Rolling Thunder. Could re-engage here in the pinball zone, but they just want to sacrifice Lodin. They're afraid of re-engaging here. Ironclad is half HP. A swashbuckle. They catch him with Soulbind, but they kill his partner. Still silence him and proceed to annihilate him. 3 beautiful silences here by Rezo, honestly, in this fight.
Dude, Rezo does so well on these heroes where you just run people down and just spam your spells with them. Necro in game 1, although they end up losing it. Centaur as well is a great hero for him. Like I think last meta he had to just play a ton of the Mars, and eventually he got used to it. You know, his Mars now is very respectable, I will say, but when he started out, it could have, you know, it was a little bit weaker than, say, his other heroes. So it's really, really nice to see him actually on the DP, because my goodness, he was just totally confident there, just charging the team forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's doing a really good job. He went for Nether Shaw as night meta, which I think is really solid as well. To give him a bit of a tanky DP. Might even consider the Kai and Sanj build later on if he wants to, or just straight up the Blink Dagger or Shivas, right? These kind of items to be the tank that pretty much the Invoker cannot fulfill, and nobody else within your team can fulfill. I like this for Hellraisers. I think they're doing a really good job early. And that team fight was a bit awkward. I'm surprised Heritage didn't just activate Enrage to dispel the Cold Snap and just walk away, honestly. But he was trying to be really efficient with it, trying to re-engage, and that ended up costing like a couple of lives there. Yeah,
it was the greed there. Saw the DD rune and wanted to get that to farm maybe the stack of Ancients rather quickly, but he's going to have to do that one on the second life after he respawns. So a nice kill there. It's going to put Rezo actually above the net worth even for the Ursa, if just briefly, of course, because with that Battle Fury, he is going to be able to outfarm Rezo with relative ease. Bottom, they are going to still maybe look for a kill into the Chosen One. Let's see if it's the exact same situation that plays out as before. Kuman maybe eager to get a little bit of pushing in here with the wagon that's still here from the 15-minute wave. And it looks like they will be able to do so. In fact, there it is, the alacrity for the wagon, and he's just going to start blasting away. They might even get this tower. They're going to aggressively fortify. We don't have a fortify either for the Radiant side, so yeah, they've got it. Nice play from Kuman.
Yeah, that was a really good... I think that ward also really helped out there to make sure that they could do this reliably. I mean, he just took the ward away, but that ward allowed him.
You mad, man. Speaking of the wards.
Yeah, that would allow them to take the tower with much ease because they knew that Nemiga couldn't re-engage because they had full vision. We have overgrowth here. I don't know. I'm afraid. Yeah, exactly. Oracle might be in trouble. Science is being gone on, but it's Lodine who's the real target. And Tornado nicks Hellscream in the middle of the MP. That's going to hit Lodine as well. And that should be the 2 supports dying as Hellscream falls to the last hit of resolution. Really well played here. We even have Soul Crest on that young G, you know, the combination of Alacrity Soul Crest that you just mentioned here to the bottom tower, which it can also be used defensively to boost the DP's damage.
Did you see that, by the way? Apparently, when you're in Shadow Realm, you're not going to be snagged up by the roots of Overgrowth. It's right next to the...
Yeah, you're undetectable, yeah.
Didn't know that.
It technically detects you, and then it proceeds to use it.
Yeah. So like, for a Cataclysm, is it the same as Disruption? Okay, so you want to be targeted by Cata. Interesting.
I mean, I'm assuming, right? Because Disruption is the same thing as Shadow.
I would agree. Yeah. That seems consistent to me. Then again, as we know, Dota is a game of exceptions, so we'll see. Okay, there's Diffusal Blade, actually. That's the item for Einkrad this game. It's the first auto attack modifier to be using with the Swashbuckle. As that Tornado thrown wildly will not find the Chosen One. He's going to go ahead and quip a very quick voice line. Kiritich may be thinking about Roche, but there's a Forge Spirit in the pit that would scout him, so he's... Oh, with the DD rune, he might go for it again. Yeah, he's going to go for it. And Hellraisers, they've got the Tier 1 and the Outpost to TP to, that Tier 1 in the mid lane, so they can defend this, and it looks like they're going to.
Alright, the Roshan... Can they... I mean, with the double damage, it's not going to fall in time. And they're really afraid of engaging, right? Because they know there's a Death Prophet, just level 12 as well for resolution.
Yeah,
this will be the perfect time to defend.
We also don't have False Promise. I think most importantly for these guys, it's still level 1 when Lodine had to use it and he died mid. That's why it's like when you use False Promise on yourself as an Oracle, like your team better be winning that fight. Because if you don't, and you don't have False Promise, it just feels awful. Yeah. Speaking of dying.
Silence on Hellscream, yeah. Can they kill Hellscream?
Lodine also focused.
They don't have too many slows. They're using the Sunstrike for vision. They know where he is. They catch Lodine in the backlands with no false promise.
They can do Roche.
This time he did die, so that's good.
They can do Roche.
It's Crest plus Alacrity. Kuman takes it in no time.
It's risky, but they could do it because we can buy back on Oracle, TP to the Tier 1 tower. But with Exo out, I think it's now or never Nemiga, and I think they've just chosen never by their inaction.
Yes. I think Zayats is in a really good position. Oh, Einkrad seems to be wanting to go in. Okay. There was Soulbound potentially, so Einkrad's going in alone because he doesn't want to get Soulbound.
Yeah, Kiritich being kited around by Zayats though.
The Roche going for Rezo here, and the Exo's going to be committed here just to make sure the Roshan can fall. There's going to be a win here for Hellraisers. Don't leave the Aegis, no! Oh, they almost left the Aegis behind. Chosen One almost stole, but Kuman quick with his fingers actually ended up baiting with that Aegis as they end up finishing off the Chosen One. What is it with Hellraisers and leaving things in the pit?
I have no idea. I still have that replay, don't worry, of them just ignoring cheese and then going back for it on a rainy day. Really, really nice play by Zayats. He dies, but...
Go for it. Show me that replay, please.
Okay, yeah, I'll show you it again. But he dies, but he just basically distracts the Ursa the entire time, and that's not a bad move from Kiritich. I'm not like calling him, you know, standard care or anything like that. He knows that if the Train Protector is left up there unabated, he's going to be able to get off a really, really nice overgrowth and potentially even game losing, because then Hellraisers can just charge right at you, and even with the Stampede, you can't do much when you're rooted down.
Exactly. That Zayat's persisting there was absolutely spectacular. And their commitment, I mean, because they went for such a buffing and poker, he gets online so quickly, and that makes sure that Lifestealer's matchup against the Ursa is a bit easier, or Lifestealer in general is a bit easier to play in the early game. No need for him to go for like that big an item like Desolator, though he is finishing it up now, instead going for the Sanj.
Einkrad has been caught.
Get the kill on Einkrad.
Yeah.
How did they get him? Overgrowth?
Yeah. No, not even. Just Ink Squall, perhaps into, looks like the Nature's Grasp. Yeah, I think
we have Shard already? No, they just surprised him.
I think he probably used Swashbuckle to farm the wave, and then the supports were very eager to punish him after he doesn't have that escape mechanism.
Dude, Kuman is straight up beating Kiritich.
Yeah, and with the DD rune, who's got Aegis? Okay, it is Kuman. So yeah,
no, but he literally just man fought him for a while. And in the mano
SEA smoke. They're gonna make a play for Young G because of the ward into the Terrorize, but now they do have at least the silence onto the Centaur. He is going to die. Einkrad's back in 6, and we still have that Tier 1 tower to rotate to. Kuman trying to punish the offlaner here. Chosen One stuck inside of the Nature's Grasp is going to go down as Lodine perishes to the DP of Rezo.
Yep. Hellraisers ends up winning yet another fight, honestly. I would say the 2-for-1. I mean, yeah, losing Young G might seem important, but since he's playing this kind of Invoker, Rezo's kind of the 2. And Young G is more the 3. So you then took the enemy's 3 with their Oracle as an extra one. Why not? I think it's a
Exactly,
win for you.
exactly. That's more impactful if it's like a carry invoker who's going for like maybe like an exort, for example, because oh no, what do we do in the team fights now? But now it's like oh no, now we don't have Alacrity and Solar Crest. We've got Aegis for Kuman. Let's still push. He's
Even
still
if it's
strong.
like the dead Evoker build where he goes for like Midas halfway through, right?
Yeah.
He transitions,
Yeah.
but this guy with Solo Crest build is more like Faker from Infamous, and this guy plays like completely buffing Invoker, right? I am Alacrity a little else.
That one does not count for the bingo card, guys. It wasn't
No,
the right
it was
team
not.
from SA. That one
It was
doesn't
not.
count.
Chris Luck does not play anymore.
Okay, there it is. No, I mean, you're totally right. I think, like, if this is the Dendi style, the older style of Quasox, shall we call it, of Ghost walking around, especially with an Orchid, right, to initiate, that is more impactful, but it's just a kill on the buffer, basically. It's going to be a bit of a problem for Hellraisers, though. I mean, Young G, he's here to definitely buff up Kuman, but we do have ways of locking down Kuman and killing him, potentially. But for right now, Kurtic just running away from Zayat, who applies a really good Nature's Grasp in the mid lane. It looks like they're making another play for Young G. Rolling Boulder is going to stun lock him once, twice, and not even thrice before he's dead as Kurtic. Turning back onto the Train Protector, quickly realizing, wait, he's alone. We can just murder him.
Now to play more aggressively and looking for Lil, but it seems like in the middle is Rezo. Rezo, can she survive this? There's a huge onslaught of damage, including an Ursa. The damage is piling on, and Rezo will fall. Kuman as well, sacrificing his Aegis for this. Chosen One is ready. Hopestop will not be ready in time, though, unfortunately. They have to use it now. The Rage has been activated. No, he was still on cooldown, so unfortunately, poor Kuman will have to fall here, as he does get the counter kill there towards Einkart with the Stroke of Fate here from Lil. But still a win for Nemiga, a huge one as well. Very haphazard fight by Hellraisers, huge blunder from them, honestly.
Yeah, they only ended up getting Einkart out from that one as well. Very, very nicely done. We'll start after the Train Protector kill, which is not insignificant. I mean, you know, fighting without your Invokers, sure. Fighting without your Train Protector before enemies have all of their BKBs online, before, you know, not forcing Lodin to use the False Promise maybe where otherwise he wouldn't want to, makes that fight super, super easy for Nemiga Gaming. Very, very nicely done. They get the tier 1 tower off the back of that fight as well. Sorry, apologies. Ursa does have his Black King bar, which is probably why he does so well in that engagement. Going next into the Basher, and then going to be the Aghanim Shard. 7 games of Ursa, of Fuzzy Wuzzy here in the lower division of Eastern Europe. He won his first game just previously in favor of Hellraisers, so maybe Nemiga are hoping that that win rate will continue for them here.
I mean, I think the matchup is still good if it comes to a late game. I was honestly thinking that Hellraisers had no way of, like, Nemiga doesn't have the best lineup to be able to get simple pickoffs because Center is just okay at doing so, right? And Pango and Ursa, like, Pango seemed to be more about cutting lanes, at least in this game. The Ursa was not really joining fights too early. Now with the Blink Dagger, it's easier. But I thought that Hellraiser will be able to hold their own. That big team fight there gives Nemiga now enough map control to regain the space they lost earlier. We go for the Fortune Zen combo with the Blink Dagger, not even needed, as he just murders the borders.
Real quick, by the way, speaking of cutting lanes, look at what Pango's got here. Einkart going for the Manta style to help him cut lanes even more efficiently here. Also for the Dispel, of course, not to mention, but also very useful for that because, of course, your illusions do get Lucky Strike. They don't obviously swashbuckle, but thank you, Lucky Shot, but they're still very nice to have.
Yeah, Pango's not a smoker, you know that. I like I guess the Manta is also for against the Fuso Blade, so you have that little combo as well. Always I want to play PL, but I couldn't pick him kind of build. Always a popular one.
Oh, okay.
I
So
think it's okay.
By the way, look at what Zayat's picked up. He's picked up the Aghanim Shard for Nature's Guys. I guess this makes sense because, you know, about a year and a half ago was back when Nature's Prophet, Train Protector had this sort of mechanic, right, on the Nature's...
As a talent.
Well, it used to be just built in, remember?
It's true, and then it became a talent, and
then it became the Shard, yeah.
Well, the invisibility became a talent, rather, because the Nature's Shard is still built in.
True, but the root hit especially is what I'm referring to here, but the invisibility is nice as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. So it's a really good shot. I think the shot is necessary if you want to play Trumpeter these days. And talk about needing to play. They found a Dark Willow that really needs a way to escape. Can she make it out though? I don't know. The Shadow Realm was not
on the
forever. They finally caught her. In the backlines are right that they go for Lodin on top of that. They're going to kill at least one of the supports. Lodin should be able to survive with the healing he has.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no. He even used a salve on himself. That wasn't enough.
It's a lot of damage, and unfortunately we can't click on the death summary. That is surprising. Salve, of course, takes a little while to be active, which was an indirect nerf to the Oracle, because of course you can just keep the salve running the entire time and get double the healing off of it, but if it heals a little bit slower, it's not as fun. Disarm onto the Train Protector. He did already use Swashbuckle, was considering going back in for the Rolling Thunder play, but he's going to consider against it without both of his supports. And he's out of dodge already. All right, Fuzzy Wuzzy's now got his Basher. Up to level 20 as well here already for Kiritich, having a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think Kiritich has been playing pretty solidly for the most part for Nemiga. He's been the solid pillar they can play around, while Aincrad has been their daredevil, essentially, right? And so that way you have at least a core for each role. A core that will make some risky but miraculous plays, and a core that won't die all the time.
Speaking of risky,
miraculous play. Oh, unless that was a fake the whole time. They kill Young G. In fact, they're going for Rezo as well. They activated that overpower. Kiritich doesn't want to chase after Rezo though. A bit too fast with extra summon. Kuman's coming back. And the Desolator as well. There's the overgrowth used. Immediately spell with the enrage. Can they continue fighting? It seems like Kiritich is confident.
He's got Rezo.
Trying to eat up Kuman.
Rezo's dead.
Kiritich has been stunned for too long. They need the help of the Chosen One. In the Fight Clans, Aincrad is trying to kill Rezo to not much success. There's the false promise. And now they can man fight Kuman as he no longer has the healing or the damage. He invests the creep to get away. And Hellskin comes back in, fighting against Young G alone. Aincrad wants to steal the Visual Blade Purge, but the Infest is nearby. Kuman wanting to finish up Aincrad. Finally, the kill they were looking for the whole time. And the Daredevil will fall. Hellraisers they got forced to buy back and they lost 2 support, so it's still a win for Nemiga. But that could have been much worse for them. Kuman almost dying to a lucky patch with Kiritich.
Yeah, so many things to point out in that fight. I don't even...
So chaotic.
I don't even know where to start. Aincrad with a beautiful initiation there. As you said, he's more of the wild one, the wild card. You don't really know what's going to happen with him. We'll cut her here, and we'll take another look at that one. Keep your eyes on Zayats as well this game. They actually doubles dust for him because they think they missed him on the first one, but his position is just too damn good. He's just hiding out by those trees. Damn tree protector players. They know all the pockets. They know all the nooks and crannies. As Monkey Server would say, know your trees. Zayats definitely knew theirs. He was super annoying in the fight, but look at Rezo getting just soloed. They actually, I think that's his Yule Scepter, but then Hellscream made a weird decision to use him again. I'm not really sure why.
That was odd. I agree. I thought he was setting up for the Bramble Maze, but instead he got some of the healing back, right?
Yeah.
Which was not what they were looking for, certainly. False Promise was clutch, by the way, towards the end. Lifestealer almost beat the Ursa down. And then Aincrad was like, alright, maybe this is a bit too much of a Daredevil. You completely forgot that Lifestealer was healing inside the creep, right? And he could just go back for round 2.
Yeah, and
still impressive, I would say, though, by particularly Kuman, actually. Holding his own against the Ursa is already respectable. He hasn't a Basher yet. Once he gets that matchup becomes much easier. Also going for AC to mitigate Ursa's damage. Whereas Kiritich needs to have that shard to get the constant enrages.
Yeah. Lifestealer, he's going to be pretty tough to kill here, even without the Basher, because he's got the Hyperstone. Looks like he's actually gotten that before even the Plate Mail versus the Ursa. I feel like he doesn't need the armor, would rather have the lifesteal here with the Feast. And we'll see how that one works out as there's a smoke play out from Nemiga, looking to wrap around. We have all the ultis up, though, for the Hellraisers. As Nemiga, they are going to smoke on smoke. Lil's going to be the target, but he gets the blink out just in the nick of time. Now being active for Kiritich as they want to try and pop Rezo, but he's immune thanks to the Yule Scepter. Oh my goodness, the damage on the Chosen One. He's already down for the count. As Aincrad rolling around, though, in the pinball zone. He's playing Space Cadet 2, and Rezo is down for the count. Willow up in the Yule Scepter is going to be left behind here. Ice Wall and Nature's Grasp leaves her moving absolutely nowhere, as it looks like Aincrad still managing to pick off Lil. He did have to go down to the low ground. Oh my goodness, though. With the Manta style, Kiritich is able to turn with the first hit bash, and Nemiga, they get 4.
I think Kuman there did overextend a bit towards the end, right, with the Infest. Like, he used the Infest relatively early within that fight, and then you didn't have it for the end, so... like, don't fight anymore. You don't have any escapes any longer. Got surprised by the Ursa. I thought that Kiritich was playing a bit too cowardly, but it just suits their style. Aincrad is doing all the Daredevil plays, making it so difficult to catch, and the Manta style Dispel has been really useful this game, as we've seen, dispelling Cold Snap and Silences here, and that Rolling Thunder was just off point. We need BKBs on them or something, and he waited for the rage to be used for him to use the Rolling Thunder, which caught the Lifestealer in a really difficult position, and just perma-stunned him pretty much. He also went for the Shield Crash talent, which actually added a lot of magical damage to his Rolling Thunder, which meant that Aincrad pretty much won that team fight single-handedly with a bit of help from the Ursa.
And they will be picking up the cheese here this time around for Nemiga. They're not leaving it behind. Kiritich, in fact, he picks up a couple of items here. Gets the Aegis of Immortality, but now he's got the Aghanim Shard. Didn't have to buy it. It was dropped by Roshan. And cheese, I think, yeah, it is going to be on Aincrad, who also has the Gem of True Sight. He's got a really good attack speed here, by the way. I mean, obviously, you know, the Diffusal Blade giving you plenty of agility. Oh, not again.
He's gonna develop vertigo. Just a fear of heights.
Somewhere over in perhaps Canada. I'm not sure if Arteezy's back in the U.S. He just woke up with a cold shudder.
Ooh. Is someone talking a beat? His shoelace broke.
Is someone stuck on a cliff?
Kiritich, he's about to get, as you mentioned, that nullifier, potentially also the Abyssal. I wouldn't mind if he got Abyssal early, because I feel like if he just has enough to like sit the Lifestealer down and not let him feast for 1.5 seconds, just the Abyssal, maybe get a bash on top of that afterwards. I think that should be enough, honestly, to kill him. But instead he opts for more damage on the nullifier and a way also to murder the DP, because that will dispel the Yule Scepter, of course, and also the Eternal Shroud. Pretty big deal.
Zayats almost has his Blink Dagger here, though. He's doing, you know, classic Train Protector shenanigans. This is what we're more used to seeing on the Train Protector, pushing usually the off lane, cutting it, getting his items, getting his farm. First item he went for this game is the drums. Very different build. The only reason I'm pointing it out is because he plays a lot of Train Protector, but of course not for a whole year. And he's going to be going into the Blink Dagger, which is a bit more normal. He usually considers the Meteor Hammer, but decided against it this game, I think, just because there's too many dispels.
Yeah, the Meteor Hammer has been slightly nerfed as well because it's stupid OD, right? So it's not as OP as it used to be. It's still good for cutting lanes, but since you don't want to take this late anyway because of the core-to-core matchup, it's like, what use is cutting lanes here? You want to be able to have more team fight now and be able to win the fights now before Kiritich becomes unstoppable. Because there will be a point where Kiritich will just, not necessarily outfarm, well, he's already outfarming Lifestealer, but be able to outclass him as a hero.
Yeah, now Ursa is a whole item ahead, and having that Nullifier on top of him as well makes it even more difficult for these supports and even the Invoker to actually make it out of here alive in these fights. Aegis still on the Ursa for another 2.5 minutes here. As, of course, with the Train Protector, you can delay the push just a little bit. Kuman has had some good attack speed, but there's the disarm. Are they going to make a jump here?
It could, but they just want to clear the way for now. Maybe they just want to take the tower that committing too much.
Yeah, Zayat's got Blink, by the way. He's got that completed. Blink Overgrowth, ready to go.
Einkan is definitely going, guys, we can jump, we can jump. Just go. I'll protect you. I have Rolling Thunder. I think he needs a bastion though for himself. Kiritich, okay. He still has the Enrage, by the way. This is the Earthshock, has the Aegis on top of that, but that's the Aegis lost. Aincrad giving as much space as he can, but that was a useless Rolling Thunder. Actually hits nobody. Aincrad just at least keeping them at bay. They leave the Lifestealer behind. There's a Stampede used, and they go in. Now they jump the backlines. Can they do enough? They want to go for Rezo here. The Terrorites not quite hitting anyone as they're all BKB. Chosen One has been left behind. With the false promise, they might be able to save him or just drawing aggro.
Rezo's still chasing.
They just have nothing else they can do here to help. Aincrad and Kiritich both on the retreat. They're going for the Willow here. Chosen One falls in the backlines, and at least Hellscream should be able to make out of here alive. So it's not the biggest loss here for Nemiga, but still not the engagement they were looking for. They did force out BKBs though, so...
Yeah, I saw the game plan there. I saw the game plan. It was all of a sudden, oh no, we can't really kill this Lifestealer too easily, folks. Let's try something else. So they just, I mean, I don't think they meant to give up the first life on the Aegis, but the idea was always to counter-initiate there onto the backlines, especially because Kuban just had to walk over to his team for like 5 seconds here. You can see, this is at the point where Aincrad's like, okay, now I got him. BKB's ending on the Invoker. He can't really get involved too heavily, but they still don't jump him. And up on the high ground, he gets off a really, really nice tornado, buys plenty of time for Kuman to come back. I think the team fight is pretty easy for them after that. So Nemiga, they're lucky to only lose Aegis and their offlaner here. Could have gone a lot worse for them.
Yeah, I feel like that Heaven's Halberd on the Lifestealer, by the way, is really limiting Nemiga's options when they initiate, because the lack of MKB and Ursa. A decent item in Ursa, but not the item you want to go for immediately. There we go. Now he's considered the MKB. It makes it so you can't really jump the Lifestealer as your first option, right? And that's what's Nemiga's kind of struggling with. They need to jump the backlines, but of course, what do you do with Kuman at some point? You need to be able to deal with this hero. That's the whole point of the Ursa versus Lifestealer matchup, to be able to have a good matchup against them. Which is why I would like to see both the MKB on the Ursa and also, honestly, the Basher on Aincrad. I think it's about time that he gets that.
I think nobody told Aincrad that, you know, as an agility hero, he can't not build for a right-clicker. He's going for the Axe next with the Shard. He's not going to have that talent, though, for the... oh, he did take it. Apologies. It's on the right side. I always thought it was on the left.
It's Aincrad. What are you thinking? Are you
true.
even doubting this man?
True. But he's going for Swift Blink immediately after that. So he's out here to right-click people, folks. This is like, you know, guess the hero. You'd be like, Riki maybe?
I mean, he even went for BKB, right? And you're like, Aincrad, don't you have Rolling Thunder, which gives you magic immunity? And Aincrad's like, no. I need to be able to hit during it. I can't hit during Rolling Thunder. Right?
What do you think?
Lifestealer can do that. I need to be able to do that too.
You love to see it. Let's talk about this Invoker a little bit, shall we? Because Young G is still playing this utility Invoker. I feel like it's not falling off if he does not die first in these fights. But we can see how important it is, how different these fights look if Young G is the one to be initiated on. This BKB working for now, but we'll see how long that'll be the case for.
Yeah. Now Hellraisers, they maintain the high ground, right? So, if you
Bash
go
for
hit
Kuman.
Nemiga, I think this pretty bad stampede. Look at the Chosen One, just insane. Running in the middle, his Einstein as well behind him. Has no blink dagger available. He got soulbound. That's not what they were looking for, and Chosen One will take a while to die. So Soulbind completely nullifies this Rolling Thunder. He doesn't go to the high ground, but instead hits the wrong zone.
He bounced back. Oh, he's TP'd.
TPs, but gets stopped by the overgrowth. Hainan could not TP at any point. Kuman even got the pass with him. Now he has technique the BKB. At least he's capable of making out of here alive, but using so many resources and getting absolutely nothing. What a soulbind there.
What a soulbind. I actually completely forgot they had him countered until that actually came through, but
He's been playing really separate from his team to prevent that from happening, but there he made a mistake. I mean, the whole team was a bit odd.
I mean,
why would you go initiate like that?
Let's take another look at it. Do you think it's his mistake to make? Because I feel like the Chosen One, like you said, kind of just went YOLO, guys, goes on in, and then he also decides to retreat where his flanker is coming from. Like, you don't want to... I feel like that's a bad play to make. Like, retreat into the rest of your team, not to the guy who's there to try and wrap around and pinch enemies when they overextend and chase you. Like, I feel like there's something to be said about that, especially because they had a ward on the high ground. They had a ward on the cliff that they placed before the fight.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Hellraisers was playing really well there, like patiently keeping the high ground because they knew they could keep the high ground. But not only is using the Stampede offensively, they're always a bit of a blunder because you want to use it as like your potential save, unless you really know you can win that team fight. But also, as you mentioned, I mean, actually, also the retreat, right? Like going through the same way that Einstein was coming in. It's like, why would you ever do that? That's just setting up for the Soulbind. Grimstroke is still a player in the game, right? Lil is not a bad player. He's actually really mechanically skilled, and he even went through a blink dagger to secure those Soulbinds easy.
Yeah, and by the way, since we're talking about Lil, let's go ahead and bring up the Aghanim Shard. He also holding on to, so the Inkswell is now going to dispel upon completion. He's got Aether Lens, of course, no longer has that cast range talent, but he's going for the Inkswell talents as well here at 10 and 15 respectively. So this Inkswell might be mighty impactful here. You can put that on magic immune targets if I'm not mistaken, right? So, yeah. No, it does not, actually. You can't put that on magic immune targets. So you can't put that on top of the rage, but I don't believe it's dispelled?
No, it's not dispelled. So you just use Inkswell's rage.
Okay, good. Oh, right, because then obviously the jug combo wouldn't work. Duh. Okay.
I do feel like it's not really that big a deal, though. The debuff, sorry, the buff that the shard gives you, I'd rather see it on someone like Invoker, for example, and use it defensively. The damage is nice, sir, but the hard to spell here is so big. It's such a big deal to be able to deal with Ursa that I feel like I'd rather see it on the Invoker or even DP than I see it on the lifesteal. Because he has rage as well.
Real quick, let's take a look at neutrals. All the tier 4s have been picked up. Flicker for Lodine, very nice for the move speed, and maybe the emergency blanket that he buffs. Hold on, we're not going to get a chance. Soulbind catches 2. The silence is great from Rezo. There's the dispel, and the Soulbind is now going to end. No kills yet, and here comes Einkrad trying to counter-initiate. The Overgrowth will catch Lodine as the False Promise is already out. It's on to Kiritich, but he doesn't really want to fight here. Einkrad gets bashed once, but he's going to be able to roll away. Immediately, though, into the Cold Snap. Yule Scepter to purge it off. Has got to pop the BKB, but he's going to die before his body hits the ground off the Swashbuckle Gem. Now into the possession of the Hellraisers. Rezo specifically, who did a great job that fight, splitting them. Zayat as well, jumping right on in with him to kind of force the issue as well. He was like a wedge in that team fight.
Yeah, really well played here by Hellraisers, as you mentioned. The division that actually Nemiga did against them earlier, they worked it into their play. Like this, watching honestly pretty high-level Dota, as we mentioned, it might be lower division, but these teams are playing really solid team fight coordination and very good positioning in the team fight. The only problem, though, is that these small mistakes like Einkrad and Chosen One made earlier, these will cost you the game. That consistency that Hellraisers has, Nemiga hasn't been able to develop yet. They're still close. They're close to it.
Chosen One.
Not enough. Oh, it's hilarious. Invest your own illusion.
He's
getting more HP this way. Come out of the illusion, find the Chosen One, and the Chosen One Cold Snap perma stuns him pretty much, and Chosen One is down as well.
He doesn't have.
This should be Rax.
He doesn't have buyback, Avo.
No, they don't have buyback. Neither does the Pango. No Einkrad or Chosen One buyback.
Take another look at this. The fight, of course, before the Roshan. Really, really nice job. Lil yet again in a great position. Makes the team fight super awkward. You could see it actually forces Hellscream to kind of just run up north. He's divided from the fight.
Honestly.
Yep, Blink Dagger. Invoker doing a good job here, able to split the fight. Rezo just running after the cores. And that's the last tier 2 tower taken down here in favor of the Hellraisers.
Yep. I'm surprised they didn't go for the high ground, honestly, considering. I mean, I guess you don't know if they have buyback or not, so that's fair. We do know. Obviously, they don't, because it's all gold. Not because they used it earlier. So maybe Hellraisers playing this safely. I mean, these plays is why Hellraisers rarely loses the mid game through mistakes, right? It's these kind of like small play styles, the consistency and the patience they want to do.
Of course. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's the consistency. We're about to hit this level 25 Pango talent. He's probably going to take the Rolling Thunder cooldown. That'll be super nice to have because he can just throw those out a little bit more willy-nilly, especially with the Spell Prism cooldown. He might just be, at some stage of this game, permanently in Rolling Thunder, especially with a roll-up. Ursa just enraging every single time he aftershocks now. Or Urshocks.
Yeah, Aftershock is the Earth Shaker. Alright, I see. Okay, Heritage. Activated in Rage though. They know this. Like again, when he does this, the overgrowth becomes much more powerful, right?
Yeah, pretty short
you know
cooldown.
You can just use it.
Pretty short cooldown,
Yes.
and it's
But
tough.
you also have a Blink Dagger on Twin Protector, so you can just force it.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward though. I mean, we got a decent high ground defense. The Chosen One standing behind, Lodine even further. We don't really have anyone that's too great this game at just finding and sniping the backline Oracle. So with Blink Dagger, especially against Flicker, it's like just about impossible to catch him unless he's in a terrible position. But when you're defending high ground, that's not going to happen. You know, this is different if you have like a Storm, a Lash, a Void Spirit, but the mid lane Invoker just doesn't bring the same amount of backline pressure as any of the previously listed. So pushing high ground is not trivial here for Hellraisers, despite having a 3K net worth lead and now Aegis. By the way, that was third row, so we've got a refresher shard for our DP, so 2 Exos ready to go this fight. And also refreshing the 4 Spirit Siphons.
Yeah, that's actually a good point as well. I feel like if DP, like if you manage to do this around level 20, I guess you're not going to wait till level 25 to fight though. You need to make something happen now, right? You still have the Aegis and Cheese in possession. Right? Maybe you're afraid of losing the team fight, but I feel like there's such a thing as playing too defensively, and Hellraisers want to they need to take advantage of this Roshan, right? Maybe the next Roshan is not as good for them.
All right, so there's 25 for Aincred. Did take the, as expected, the Rolling Thunder cooldown. 34.4 second cooldown with an active time of 10 seconds. Not bad whatsoever. He's got BKB to cover him for a couple of seconds. I believe 6 now with his current... No, 7-second BKB still for him. Kuratich is down to a 6-second one. Holding on to that Penta Edge Sword. The attack range and the damage, of course, very nice. But also the Maim is pretty impactful here for the Ursa. It used to be up on the Sange, but it's now been just transitioned over to this item instead. Zayat's holding on to the Timeless Relic.
Well, sure, there's no other item that gives you the Maim anymore.
Yeah.
They made a sound effect for it, so like we're gonna keep it in the game.
Yeah, of course. Same thing with Iron Talent, but now we decided to remove it because Ice Frog hates the jungle.
Yeah, he really does. He's clearly a support player. Cool, man. Okay, he wants to waste his Aegis, it seems like. Got a bash there, and the Heaven's Halberd. And Rage will help you, but
No soul
unfortunately
bind.
you got it early.
No soul bind.
Yeah, you have an all-in Rage, though. There's a Rolling Thunder. Can they re-engage? Kuratich doesn't seem to care.
Great terror
The one comes in as well with a Homestuck,
Wow.
and they managed to kill 2. The 2 cores. Only Kuman's left here with a support. Can Kuman do everything alone? It seems like for now he's accomplishing it. Abyssal Blade, but the false promise coming out, helping out Kuratich. Kuman knows he can't get the skill, but he is giving him perma-stun, or at least disarm. However, Kuman alone versus 5. Now he's gonna meet a Maker, and it's gonna be Hellraisers retreating on the rest of the team. Kuman left behind, completely alone. They need a bash here. Will they get it? They won't! Kuratich was farming the lane as opposed to hitting him straight up to guarantee that bash.
Yeah, Lil's gonna die here in the backlines. He did stick around trying to get off a good Dark Portrait. Unfortunately, he will fall. My goodness, I just have to praise Hellscream right there for a little bit because he gets in there, he stops, I believe it was him that stops the cast of the Overgrowth to potentially turn that fight around. And then further, Terrorize, thank you. And then further just boots Zayats the hell out of the fight. You could see, I mean, just to keep an eye on him in this engagement here, as I'll pull it up here in just a second. Making sure
I think the Chosen One was also kind of insane. The fall of the Hull Stomp was right on point as the Magic Immunity for Lifestealer was leaving, so you managed to get
what's going on here? Careful here. Zayat's been caught cutting waves.
Okay, that's the play that he has to make, and it's okay if he dies if he cuts the wave. Unfortunately, they caught him before he could cut the wave.
Yeah.
I mean, Ninja Scratch is still doing a trick though. I mean, this is pretty good.
We've got a wave here already on the high ground. Backdoor already broken. We've got a fortify. There's the buyback out from Zayats. He needs to get back in here. Ward's already on the high ground though for Nemiga, so we got to be careful. First hit bash. Into the silence out from Rezo. He's respawned naturally. Hasn't needed to buy back, but it does have it should the worst happen here. Stampede to get them off the high ground, and I think that'll be the high ground suitably defended for now. We'll take a look here at that jump. There it is. Just beautiful. And then you could see Hellscream knows and go, no, get away from here.
It's true, yeah, Hellscream does a really good job. But mind you, I also think the Chosen One there was much more on point, right? Like, and also INVICTUS to some degree, as you said, you know, they wasted Soulbind, and that's when he goes in with Rolling Thunder much more reliably. He was waiting for that. Obviously, you could also argue that's a mistake by Lil. Oh, another fight's coming. There we go. Rolling Thunder by INVICTUS this time. He'll catch Lil DP, but she does act in the BKB. Soulbind's also effective this time. A nice 3-man silence on top of this. They don't have the damage for Rezo. In fact, they do have damage for INVICTUS instead. The Ursa's struggling to murder Rezo, who's tanking this nicely. Chosen
Kurtish's
One
TP in.
will fall.
He's out.
Kurtish TP's in the middle of this. That's going to work out for them. But they did lose the Chosen One in the process. Where did INVICTUS end up going here? INVICTUS managed to TP himself, so it's only going to be the supports left behind and a courier that almost dies to the DP's damage.
Not bad. You only end up losing the Centaur. He's got buyback this time around. Once again, Hellscream keeping both supports out of the fight. Not that Lil really cared that much. He'd rather fight Hellscream than the Ursa or even INVICTUS at this stage. But keeping, again, the overgrowth from being too impactful that time around. So very, very, very nice job here by the supports, kind of just splitting into their own side fights. But Hellraisers still showing that they can very easily take these engagements. So that's Rezo. I think he did. No, he's still got Refresher Shard here, so he can threaten to push high ground and force the buyback out from Nemiga.
Alacrity plus Soul Crest here for the life stealer.
Whoa.
It's going to help you push the high ground nicely, but he needs to be able to get on it, and until now, I think Nemiga has shown that they can defend it properly. Soulbind is available though.
Ursa just two-shot the entire wave there casually, by the way. He's got an MKB, and he's gone for the overpower attack.
DP though. DP just completely tanks him, which is impressive.
Of course,
I guess it's because the Spirit Siphon adds to it, right? The
Yeah.
Spirit Siphon heals are at the same time as you her. Yeah.
if you haven't been watching too much Dota, or you just watch Dota and don't play too much, because we usually don't get too many instances of heroes getting above level 26, you start to get your talents as well, one by one, rather than all of them at once at 30. Yeah. So here's Kiritich showing that one off. 20-second Fury Swipe. He's going to get Agi, and then the Enrage status resist. So nothing too crazy for him here. What about for Ingrid? Anything too nice?